road at night, cause you come with your light so bright, like you want blind me for spite. It is overbearing. Me and you never had no war. Why you spot the light on me for? Is it accidental or you just someone caring? Every day you go me complaining all the things that ain't going right. From now on I will be explaining which place you could spot the light. Spot the light in the parliament and see who is looking out for you or barely fooling we. Spot the light the right places and find out who is on the people's side and who's selling out. Don't spot it on me, you joke. I don't be at no port when girls coming in. I am sure cowboys and Indians, no, don't spot it on me, you idiot. When taxpayers' money waste, don't spot it in my face. You better spot the light man who run the place. I don't run the government. I know if the computer, don't spot it on me, Posey. Spot the light man the DLP. Oh yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Malaka. Blinding you with the LEDs. Them that are doing as the thieves. Don't tell the authorities I feel violated. Go spot them in the treasury. Then you will see if the economy living off borrowed money that I am afflicted. Light is a great disinfectant. Use it, don't abuse it at night. Cause all that hide in the darkness must come out in the light. Spot the light in the board meetings and see who is representing you or the rich minority. I want you spot the light in the right places and find out who is standing up for you or just running them out. Don't spot it on me, no way. I don't have any clout, no power, no say, okay. And I ain't got no land to give away. Don't spot it on me, you idiot. One for you, another one quit. Don't target me one bit. You better spot the light on the cabinet. I may drive and get annoyed. Check my front and touch your boy. Don't spot it on me, you insane. You spot the light in the wrong lane. Aye, aye, aye. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. When you see me on the road at night, make sure that you dim your light. I give you valuable insight. Time for activation. Aim the light, aim it all about. Human cockroaches running out. Places you will never dream about. Need illumination. Wickedness reside in high places. Time for you to make wrong things right. Corruption is hiding in dark spaces. In Barbados, let there be light. Spot the light on the police, you can choose. Some are real professional, some protect their shoes. Spot the light in the courtrooms and find out why them hardened criminals out here walking about. Don't spot it on me, freak. I can't give a big speech, I've got the whole world, so I'm based. All know I still getting praise. Don't spot it on me, freak. I ain't looking at the George Street, I know who get cussed or beat. Spot the light out in Robert Street. I never tried to meet with Trump or get some fed up man to jam. Don't spot it on me, yeah good. Spot the light in Ella Rapport. Crime out here getting worse. Spot the light when the I ain't laughing out none. Spot the light when the Kaisonian. Admiral my degree. Spot the light when my for my health. Spot the light
for your bleeding self. Listen, Barbados. Good evening, the Caribbean. Good evening, the world. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. And we are coming to you live from Barbados. Yes. Beautiful Barbados. Oh my goodness. How is everybody doing tonight? Tonight, we have a great show lined up for you. We have a great show lined up for you. How many of you remember THIERRY GITTENS? Well, THIERRY was doing a lot of studying, etc. So, but THIERRY is going to be with us tonight. And he's going to be talking about how to spot deep fakes. You know, sometimes you're looking on the computer and you see all these things and you're not sure if it's real or it's not real. So he's coming on to do some education about that tonight. And we have UMAR ABDULLA from Trinidad is coming on to talk about compensation for that COVID injection, for all the injuries that have occurred as a result of the COVID injection. So we're going to have him come on. And you know, Mr. HINDS is joining us, and we are going to take it down the road from there, because we heard that, that there's so many people in Dominica. A lot of the Dominican citizens, I saw it online, you know, where they are protesting Mia Mottley coming to Dominica to interfere. They say she's interfering in their politics, and that if she comes, she's supposed to resign as CARICOM chair. But, you know, because they don't know her, you know, we know her. They don't know her. We know her, that she interferes. She is a meddler. She meddles. So all of us could have told them that. But we remember when they were all praising her, didn't we? So we're going to talk about that, and then also about this what's it, 1 billion. This is the Minister of Agriculture talking about rum production, but we're going to get into that. The ridiculous amount of rum production he's claiming, thinking that we were born, you know, we were born, I don't know, they say born on Sundays. Well, good night, Jerry Nelson. Good night, Judy Jilks. Marcia Miller, good night. How about Lyric Lewis Jilks? Good night. Teroni Hall, good night. Edwin Pilgrim, Chantel Williams, V. Hoy, Bon Nuit. Lucinda Aline, Shirley, good night. Philip C., good night. Nigel Carrington, how are you doing? Sandra Watkins, Diana Husbands. Oh boy, you could tell somebody's happy that my voice is almost there. That's like probably 90-something% there. I'm so happy. I'm even singing a little bit. ADG, Queen D, Jacqueline Allen, Sonny. Sonny, good night, Sonny. Yes, spot the light on the NIS. Yes, his Harris, Margaret Pollard, Mildred Ben, Angela Burke, Dan, spot the light. Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit about spot the light and Calypsonians and the censorship that is happening in Barbados as they seek to, like, they're protecting the prime minister. It's almost like she's made out of eggs and they have to protect her, right? So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about CBC. So you can call those that are, those of you who watch to take back the news, let them know I'll be talking about CBC. So tell them to come over. In the meantime, guys, like and share. I'm just happy to be with you tonight, and we're going to go right into the national anthem of Barbados. Yes, the national anthem of Barbados. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody guarding the heritage? Is there anybody out there who's guarding the heritage? Who out there is guarding the heritage of Barbados? Yes, they say, oh, you guys, every night you come on and you talk about this and you criticize the government and you guys get that? Do you hear people saying that all we do is criticize the government? Let me tell you something, loyal opposition. Loyal opposition, do not let anybody intimidate you. Do not let anybody make you feel that you don't have a right to speak up about things that matter to you in this country. Don't you ever let anybody say that to you. Always remember, you remember the cybercrime bill? It was passed in the lower house, passed in the Senate. You remember that? And was ready to become law. And it's because of the people of Barbados. Who remember that? The people of Barbados. It's you, Barbados. So don't you ever let anybody try to tell you, oh, you could talk all you want. It's going to be another 30 love. It doesn't matter. As long as you have breath in your body and you live in this country, you're free to open up your mouth and to say whatever you need to say that is on your mind, that's bothering you, once you're not defaming others. You're free to say it. Loyal opposition, let them know that we are strong. We are strong. I meet you in the supermarkets. I meet you in town. I meet you in Warrens if I go to Warrens. Wherever I go, I meet you. Yesterday, I was at the court, as you know, with Praise Academy, which I'm going to tell you about that a little bit. And there it was. Lawyers are shaking my hand. Hello. I'm like, somebody said, is that Mrs. Weeks? Yes. Oh, I watch your show every night. A lawyer in all of their gear. And I'm like, what? They say, oh, we watched the show. Others looking and trying to not let me see them, that they're looking. Right there. So I guess they probably hear when I'm calling out the lawyers at night. Everywhere we go, loyal opposition, let me tell you something. Anytime you hear them telling you to stop talking and that you're not making any sense and you're not going anywhere because me and Mottley is still going to get 30 love, it means that whatever you are doing is taking effect. If they tell you something, if they tell you not to tell you to stop, you know that you need to continue. Don't stop your activism. Don't stop. Don't stop sharing the program at night. And in the same breath, I wanted to say to Mr. Thorne, if he's listening or anybody knows, can send him the link right now. I don't know. He might be in a meeting. I'm not sure. But I want to say to you, Mr. Thorne, publicly, I want to thank you. I want to thank you on behalf of the loyal opposition. I want to say thank you, Mr. Thorne, for burning bright the light, shining the light inside of Parliament in the lower house, sir. Thank you. Thank you for shining that light in the lower house. Shine the light on them, Mr. Thorne. Their insults. Ignore their insults. Fight for your country. And I know that's what you do. I know that's what you do, Mr. Thorne. You love your country. You're a fantastic lawyer. And they're scared of that. They cannot match it, Mr. Thorne. And we from the loyal opposition want to just send encouragement to you. We want to send encouragement to those in the upper house. Continue. The two senators, Senator Worrell and Senator Walters, continue to spot the light. They're afraid of the light. And listen to me. You know who afraid of light? Cockroach, mouse, rodents, those that give trouble in your house. Huh? Anybody that's in your house, supposed to be in your house, and you turn on the light, they're not running. It's only who is not supposed to be in your house that's going to run when you turn on the light. This show turns on the light. Mr. Thorne, inside of Parliament, turns on the light. These two opposition senators turn on the light. When you use your social media pages, you turn on the light. Loyal opposition, you turn on the light. So don't you let anybody telling you, oh, turn off the light. You know what? It's blinding. It's blinding. You're not going to see. If a robber comes in your house and you turn on the light, they're going to scatter, right? They like darkness. And this government is involved in a lot of wrongdoing. This government is involved in a lot of corruption. This government is working hand in hand with the criminals. This government. I can afford to tell you that. I can afford to tell you that. They are working hand in hand with criminals, and that's why they're so soft on crime. They can't touch them. They're buddies with them. They give them money. They buy equipment for them. We just heard of the one down at Country Road there. You know, he's supposed to be the Don in that area, whatever they call them these days. I guess I'm old-fashioned. Who bought them the 2 sewage trucks? Who bought that individual the 2 sewage trucks? You know yourself. You know you bought them. You know that a lot of you are the biggest criminals in this country. But then we throw down the little black boys on the road, on their belly in the hot sun, and stick a gun in their necks. And a lot of these people, both in government and business, walk around in big suits. So whenever they don't want you to speak, understand, they're afraid of the light. But we join in with listen, Classic, we are behind you 100%. I was told, and let me check my phone, I was told that up until the time I came on here, that CBC has not lifted the hold on Classic. Well, let me tell you, CBC, we're going to ring out your name, and I'm telling you, you are going to get a boycott like never before in your skin. Listen to me, CBC. You are going to get a boycott like never before. The Calypsonians, another Calypsonian called me today, and they're going to, let me tell you something. We are gearing up for a march on Saturday. Yes? Listen to me, folks. Somebody says here, no one can mute me, period. We have a right to freedom of expression and freedom of assembly. Like the late Errol Barrow created that for all of us, Bajans and citizens alike. Tell them, please. And that is why we went to the courthouse on Monday. Monday, I said Monday. Why did I say Monday? On yesterday, Thursday. We went to the courthouse yesterday. Because the last time I checked, there is freedom of expression and freedom of speech in this country. There is a constitution. It's not the Republican Constitution, but we have a constitution that protects our freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And what a lot of people did not realize A lot of these Calypsonians, as I said to the one that called me, I said, have you been listening to us about the cybercrime bill? He said, cybercrime bill? I said, that cybercrime bill is so that you will be censored. But when we are speaking, a lot of people not listening. When Praise Academy was censored by NIFCA, a lot of people didn't pay attention because that's the people from the church. But they're after all of us. Somehow, all of a sudden, we can't sing. They can't sing about me and Mottley. Did you know that? Did you know that they're not supposed to? You knew that Lester Hope says spot the light on the Hope Project. Lester Hope, do you know that it would appear that you're not supposed to sing about me and Mottley, nor this BLP government? You're right. Demons are afraid of light. You're afraid of the light, Lemuel said, when your deeds are evil. Yeah? They're full of tricks. We are children of the light. Yeah? Folks, I am saying to you, as long as you have breath in your body, as long as I have breath in my body, someone, something, anything bothering you, speak. That's one thing that nobody should be able to take from you. Yeah? If we don't exercise our rights, we don't have any. That's what Jacqueline says. Huh? Do you see the people in Dominica? We're going to show you what they're putting up on their screen, on their Facebook pages, and they're telling her you're not welcome in Dominica. They're telling our prime minister that just loves to push her mouth and meddle in everything. She meddles in the remember only last week, wasn't it? It was the acting DPP, Director of Public Prosecution. She's meddling in that, where she has the lawyers had to remind her, you don't have any business over there, Mayor Mottley. Honorable Mayor Mottley, what you doing over there? Why you're over there telling the acting DPP what to do? It is rumored that she even called her to a meeting. Yes, she did that with the Auditor General as well. Call him to a meeting. Why is she meddling and believe she can get up and take a plane and go into people's country and meddle with them over there? The people not having it. That is, those of you listening from another country, we can tell you, we have been telling you all on this show. That is the kind of prime minister that we have. If she could reach in our homes and tell us how often to bathe and how much to eat, she will do it. Because that's what she is. I told you she's Miss Piggy. That's why I call her Miss Piggy. That name comes up like a situation like this. What you doing in Dominica, in the people them business? Mind your own business. And we're going to go into that a little bit more. But I wanted to show you a little video from Gospel Fest. I don't know. Dave is not with me tonight, so somebody's filling in. I can't say who. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get me my Gospel Fest video. But while we're looking for the Gospel Fest video, I want to tell you about a special event tomorrow. How many of you know Bridget Blucher? Anybody remember Bridget Blucher? Who knows Bridget Blucher? There is an event tomorrow night at Kensington. Right? Kensington Oval with Bridget Blucher is going to be there tomorrow. Okay? That's tomorrow night at Kensington Oval. And Gospel Fest has been going very good, doing very, very well. And so tomorrow night is going to be Kensington Oval. But it seems like I'm not going to get my little video. Okay, I'm getting it. Okay. All right, go ahead and play. Thank you.
Hold on. Where are we?
Well, on the 31st of May.
Hi, what out here called? Yeah.
What parish? I don't care.
You said 8-3, Margaret? 8-3.
All right, hold on. Everybody in?
Yeah.
I just making sure again. Come at Legacy on the day. Ultimate Gospel Anchor on the Hill if you really want everything. All right, we'll be good there.
One more piece.
I believe. God bless you.
You have a good day today?
Yeah, I had a good day. Why? Why? Because I like this.
I love the voice.
You have been so good. Every breath I am made. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running out for me. Your goodness is running out for me. Your goodness is running out for me. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me. Is my life laid out? My life laid down. I give you everything. Your goodness is running out to me. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me.
Sisters of One. This is what many years ago.
The song of gospel
reggae.
What is the band name?
Sisters of One.
Sisters of One?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Mr. Adrian.
Miss Adrian, I didn't know that was you. Yes. Were you going to fund me again?
Yes.
I enjoyed today, of course. Your goodness is running out. It's running out. Your goodness is running out. It's running out. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me.
Barbados Gospel Fest 2025, May 25th to June 1st.
Have a good evening. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, that finished so quickly. It caught me off guard there, I must say. But it is that was Mike on the Move, a Gospel Fest, the Goodness of God Challenge, and we were out on the road with them, had a fantastic time. And tomorrow, I mean, they had him speak a couple days ago, and all the events I heard all the events are doing very, very good, actually. And then tomorrow is a big night at Kensington Oval, right? And you have Kevin Adams and Voices of Praise from Canada. United Voices is our young, talented people from Barbados. And then you have Gospel Fest dancers and dancers from Bahamas and Kingdom Life Dance Movement. And you have songs by Chelsea Cadogan, Gary Miller, St. Vincent Band and the Gospel Fest Mass Choir. And then there's Bridget Blucher. And anybody can tell me one of their favorite Bridget Blucher song. If you have a favorite Bridget Blucher song, put it in the comment section. Now, I can tell you this, that they still have some free passes for Kensington. Free passes for Kensington. Anybody knows where Things Gospel is? Canary Mall. There is Think Gospel is in Canary Mall. If you can go down to Canary Mall tomorrow, go down to Canary Mall tomorrow when you're going to town. Stop there or go to the one in Warrens, which is upstairs Massey. Climb the stairs, go upstairs Massey. You'll find Things Gospel there. And just let them know the Marcia Weeks show sent you. And you will be able to get a free pass. Okay, you're gonna have to fill out a little form, etc., etc. And you go up there. It's called a passport. They call it a passport. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you. Yes, people saying I'm still here. Well, you know you're gonna be hearing I'm still here tomorrow at Kensington. I'll be down there at Kensington, God willing, tomorrow. Oh my goodness, we're gonna be having a great time down there. So come on down and have a good time at Kensington Oval tomorrow evening. Go to Things Gospel. If you don't know where it is, just go online, search, and you'll get the directions. Or you can call me 236-7000. That's 236-7000. Things Gospel Fest tomorrow. Bridget Blucher, you don't want to miss it. Okay. Somebody says a fugitive from God. Yes. Okay. But everybody like I'm still here. So yes, those are good ones. Good ones. Okay. So make sure that you you go tomorrow and support Gospel Fest. All right. And then there is Farley Hill on Sunday. And I'll be taking in a little bit of it because I have to come back here to you all. But I try to get a little bit of everything. Well, tonight I'm seeing in the right here in the green room is Mr. THIERRY Gittens. And so I'm going to bring him right into the studio tonight as he comes to talk to us about how do you detect when something, you're watching something and you believe something telling you it's fake, right? And you're not sure if it is fake, right? It looks like the person, right? It looks like Rihanna or it looks like, whomever. And, you might see me on there one of these days telling you that you're to vote for me and Mottley. You know that's a deep fake. You know that. But anyway, let's bring in Mr. THIERRY Gittens. Good night, THIERRY.
Hey, good night, Barbados, and to the Marcia Week Show. How are you doing, Marcia?
Great, THIERRY. It's good to have you again here tonight.
It's good to have you. It's been a while, but school
It's been a while. I know you've been doing a lot of studying. You're doing computer studies at UWI, right?
Yes, please.
And how is that going, sir?
It's good. And there's some things that have some little challenges, but if I think the good fight in God's name.
In God's name. So I'm going to see some good grades. A nice GPA.
I get in there for sure. I can help deliver the country to a better place. I can promise you that part.
You're promising me that. All right,
yes,
all right. I will let the people know. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But THIERRY, it's always a pleasure to have you. And I did all that I could to make sure that you're on tonight. So, folks, I want us to take note of what THIERRY is saying to us, because there are many times that you will see something online. You see they're saying Beyonce is singing for Abraham Traore. I don't know if you saw that, THIERRY. And you saw that they say that Rihanna is singing for Abraham Traore. The Pope is giving a message to Abraham Traore. And you're wondering, are these things true? So over to you, THIERRY, educator.
Okay, no problem. I'm just
I always ask you to speak a little louder.
You can hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but you drop sometimes.
Oh, apologies. I'm gonna try to share my screen now to present the presentation. Hold on.
In the meantime, guys, yes, we love THIERRY. In the meantime, we're going to ask everybody to share, to like and share. like and share. This is a very important for us, folks. We are all on the internet, and sometimes, you know, they could come to you. I remember there was even a case, a series working on that, where an elderly woman gave someone all of their, you know, the bank information because they thought it was their grandchild calling.
Yeah, it's
You know, so you can be scammed. It's a very dangerous place out there, I tell you. Very dangerous space out there. So I needed to pay attention, and everybody, please,
something.
please, please share. You getting through, Theory?
I mean, just it's loading. Tell me it's loading.
It's
Let me try
loading.
again.
Loading. Folks,
All right.
have you
There we
shared?
go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. It's right there. Yay. Go right ahead, Theory.
Beware of deepfakes by Thierry Gittens.
Yes.
What are deepfakes? These are fake videos, pictures, or voices made using artificial intelligence that look and sound real. They can make it seem like someone said or did something they never actually did. While they can be fun and creative, they can also be used to spread lies or trick people. How to spot deepfakes? Unnatural face movements. Watch for odd blinking, stiff expressions, or awkward lip syncing that doesn't match the voice. I'm going to say that again. Watch for odd blinking, stiff expressions, or awkward lip syncing that doesn't match the voice. Strange.
Theory, if I can just tell you something there real quickly, but because I want to bring it home, sometimes I might stop you because we have some seniors and sometimes it's a little above, you know, a little, you know, it can be a little technical. But I just want to give them an example that some of these, you would see somebody like they're sitting and they're reading the news. And yes, they're doing that because they're getting a little more natural now, Theory. But sometimes, you know, if somebody's speaking, you're going to at least see their chest moving, right, Theory?
Yes,
And
please.
that's how I have to tell, because the chest, they're doing everything with their hands and everything looks good and everything like I'm doing, but there's no movement in the chest. Go ahead, Theory.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for elaborating. I appreciate you breaking it down for the individuals who need that. Strange lighting and shadows. The lighting might not match the surroundings, or shadows may fall in the wrong place. Um, where that may be, if you know that you're seeing a light coming from the right hand side, but it's coming, then you see the shadow on the same right hand side, you know something's wrong. It's supposed to pop up on the left. So those type of things. Glitches and distortions. Looking for blurry, flickery, or parts of the face that briefly disappear or look warped. No, that is the easiest way to spot it, but as you said, they're getting better, right? And we're going to go into that. Mismatch in voice and tone. The voices might sound off, robotic, or not match the person's usual accent or emotion. So you have to be able to spot those things as well. So a good way to figure that out, if you know it's like the video I'm going to show this essential branch governor. If you realize that you're not sure if this video is right, you can easily look for previous videos of that individual and compare the voices if you wish to be sure about what you're seeing. Too perfect or too odd behavior. If sometimes feels off, if something feels off, like someone saying or doing something completely out of character, it might be a deep fake. For example,
use me as an example. My example is if I came on, you see the Marcia Week show, and I tell you, go and vote for me, a Mottley. Deep fake. Go ahead.
Yes, please. That is a deep fake. Okay, this is my favorite part of the slide. This is the original picture, but this is also what you should be looking for on the right hand side. So if you see the person's eye is on, how to put it, look, it looks they started here, but they look they're sleepy, but they're talking about something very exciting, you know, something is off there. If the voice, as we mentioned previously, doesn't sound right, then you know something is off there. One of the biggest indicators is movement in the cheeks. So if you realize that the person is based on what their emotion that they're supposed to be expressing, if it doesn't add up with respect to cheek movement, you know something is wrong there. The nose as well, because when persons breathe, you normally see a little flare in the nostrils. If you're not seeing any flare in the nostrils, you know that is something is wrong. Oh, sorry, apologies. Right, going back. Right. For example, poor lips. AI right now is not able to form proper lips or the structure of the lips, so you can swap for that as well. And also we mentioned with the shadows, but you might see a distortion in the shadow with respect to the neck. You mentioned as well, Marcia, with the chest. That's a good way, because when we breathe, our chest expands, and it also compresses. So that's a nice way. That's a good way to spot it as well. Continuing. Dangerous deepfake use in Barbados. 1 month ago, individuals trying to scam Barbadians sent around a video of the governor of the central bank. And I'm going to switch my screen to show you all that. Give me a
And while
second.
he's doing that, guys, please like and share. Important. It might save you, your thousands or millions you have in the bank, right?
Can
Very
you see the
important.
video?
Yes, I can, and I will add it, sir.
It's not necessary for you to hear it. I just want you to spot.
It has come to my attention
Can you hear?
that a digitally manipulated video falsely impersonating me as governor of the central
Okay, I'm
bank
gonna
of
pause
Barbados.
here. Right. So can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So you can see my mouse or not?
Repeat, please.
Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
No? Oh,
I
good.
can see your mouse.
Okay. So right in the corner of his, which should be his right eye, but from my angle it would be his, his right eye, right?
Right.
You're gonna see a little white spot up there. Can you see it?
Yes.
That is not natural. Look at his left eye. See how the other one is smaller? That's the first spotting of it, right?
Right. So
It's
hold a
circulated.
minute and let people. Did anybody see that? Look on the right eye. Say it again, Theory. And
I have the carrot back. Look, right here, right there.
Yes.
See, that's not natural. The glare in his eye is supposed to kind of fall a little bit more in the center, but it's off.
Yes.
Right there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So also you can see the tone of the video. Now this is an original video. That's why I really, really wanted to speak to Barbadians about this video, because I remember seeing this video when he was talking to Crystal, I can't remember her name, but the reporter Crystal Hoyt, right? Crystal Hoyt, and
Yes.
the tone of this video was more I don't know what to use. It was 4K. The actual level of quality or the quality of video.
Quality was 4K. Yeah.
Was 4K. But now you can see it's distorted. Like it's not as what the word I'm looking for. As crisp. It's not as crisp, right? So yeah, that's another way to spot it. The video quality
Circulating on WhatsApp and other online platforms.
Another thing, when his lips are moving, his eyes are stagnant. No, that happens as well. But look at the speed of his lips.
This
Compared
video
to
is
the
a
actual
scam.
audio.
It is designed to deceive and defraud individuals of their
Y'all notice
funds.
that as well?
Please
Yes.
do not engage with it.
Yeah.
Or
So
share your
this
personal
is a very good
or
deepfake
share your
because it utilizes an original video, and you can barely spot the errors. But as I said before, going back to the picture it described, I used to help describe what the deepfake is. Basically, you have to be able to spot, quality of video. The lips are not moving with the audio. And look at the eyes. Look at how much times he's blinking, and he didn't blink as much. And it means a short video, but those are the kind of indicators you want to be looking for. And there's some greater indicators as well. But I really wanted to use this as an example because months ago I came on the show. We were speaking about the cybercrime bill, and it said there are individuals who may come and try to use deepfakes, and that is what the bill should be focused on, not focused on trying to stop persons from speaking. And what I said came to pass. So
repeat that, Theory, because you say that a bit slower so the people can understand what you're saying.
Okay, apologies. Months ago, when we were speaking about the cybercrime bill, when it was at 100,000 it was at 70,000 and 7 years. I said that the government or the lawmakers, legislators, should be focused on making that bill being a bill for stopping deep fakes, right?
Yes.
And look now, deep fakes are being used to impersonate persons of high prestige or high importance. And what it said came to pass. So I believe that, I don't know if they saw this and they might come and say, well, that's the reason why they want the cybercrime bill. But so, and then still, in the background, put in the other stuff to ostracize or even limit individuals' ability to speak. But that is not the purpose of the cybercrime bill. The cybercrime bill should stop persons being scanned by these videos and being hacked by individuals. That is what it should be focused on. So I just showed you.
Someone is saying here that we can spot them now. Trevor Seeley said, but in 2 to 5 years, we wouldn't have any clue. And I agree with him. It's going to be very difficult, Theory.
Yeah. So right now, Google just released something called VO, and VO is out of this world. Is when you watch the videos, you think they're real persons. They even catch me, right?
I'm telling you.
The only thing about it is that video is not available in Barbados right now, right? But in the Chartwell, it will be. So we have to be able to spot these things, and we have to be able to protect ourselves from negative individuals or nefarious actors. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go right ahead.
Yes, please. Okay. Going back to my original slide. Trying to switch. Start screen. Share screen.
It's on the screen.
Right, there you go. Right. So continuing.
Yes.
No, even though, as I mentioned, those are the negatives of we will consider deep fakes. There's also positives of video generation. Education. Video generation can create engaging and personalized educational content, making complex subjects easier to understand for diverse learners. And that's something currently I'm working on. So for me, as a person who's trying to use it for a positive reason, persons using it for a negative reason is going to make it harder for me, right? And others who wish to utilize it for positive purposes. Marketing. Businesses use AI-generated videos to produce compelling ads quickly, helping brands reach audiences with tailored messages. Right, that's something very important because we have a developing marketing sector here in Barbados, and if those negative actors continue to go down the path they're going, then it's going to affect them as well. Accessibility. It enables the creation of sign language or narrated videos to assist visually or hearing impaired individuals in accessing information, which is very good. Entertainment creators can generate scenes, animations, or entire episodes, speeding up production and enhancing storytelling possibilities. That's a good reason as well. Training. Organizations use it to simulate real-life scenarios for employee training, improving learning outcomes without high production costs. Right, so that's another positive. So even though I outlined the negatives and I showed you the dangers of it, which I want all Barbadians, no matter old or young, to be able to spot, I think we still have potential with respect to utilizing it to, gain income, help persons solve issues, that type of thing. So it's not totally bad, but when you're looking at the negatives of it, we call it deep fakes.
So you're basically saying we can use this AI and all of this stuff to make some money, is what he's saying. It can be used legitimately in a positive way to make some money. I heard somebody said that all of this, if we use it well, if Black people use it well, this can be our reparations. This can be, because it gives us a level playing field, right? In a sense, see, because the Africans are using this a lot.
That's it. My next slide. If there are any questions, I believe I still have a minute. So thank you for having me. If they have any questions, you can ask me.
Wow, this was really really quick but very informative, Theory, and it's something that, as I said, it can save you. I remember being in here and David saying to me, "Marcia, is this real?" And I looked at it. I'm usually the one who can detect, and I tell him, I said, the person's chest is not moving. The face, they're moving the face one way too much. But the Africans are extremely good at it right now. And I want to say that a lot, the Abraham Traore Theory is doing a great work in Burkina Faso. But the reality is, though, that there's some exaggeration that is happening by the use of AI. And a lot of people don't realize that.
True. I understand. I know it's not what you're saying, but I understand why individuals are doing that as well, because in 1987, I think, or something around there, Thomas Sankara was killed. So now that the African diaspora has the ability to, utilize the media to enhance or be the catalyst of protecting the president, I believe it can be used for a positive reason, because at the end of the day, that individuals who are seen to be put in a positive light or have the spotlight on them a lot, they're not necessarily targeted by negative forces, and that's where I will leave it at that. So yes, as I said before, it could be deceiving or exaggeration, but right now it's necessary to protect the president, because the opposing forces are going to use every weapon at their disposal, even the media. As you know, they have Fox and the other entities that spin a perfect narrative or whatever they will later call it. But the Africans don't necessarily have that as well. So they're making their own way and looking to protect the president and protect these individuals who want to put more positivity out there and represent him and what he's standing for. Because something they saw from an official source, I think it was CBN, which is something for Africa, but he just like what was what I said, maybe today, 2 days ago, I'm not sure exactly, but he was at a ceremony which was to what exactly was to basically introduce cashew production.
Cashew.
Cashew production in Burkina Faso. So they just make sure the plant, so how they're going to expand it, that kind of stuff. And the thing about it, Burkina Faso is going to be the first country in the world to use the cashew apple for other purposes. Normally, persons take the cashew apple and throw it away because
throw it away. Yeah,
but Burkina Faso said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to use it for oil production. We're going to use it for cooking oil production. We're going to use it for juices, health remedies, that type of stuff. So even though yes, there's some exaggeration or propaganda pertaining to the president.
But every war, I mean, they're in war because they would love to kill him. So
exactly.
The young Africans and they're very creative, because I would have met quite a few when we went to Ghana to film, and the youth in Africa, they are the largest. They make up the bulk of the population in Africa. It's young people, and they have an understanding of the computer. They have an understanding of AI. And let me tell you, just like in war where propaganda is used, each side, the Ukraine was using propaganda, the US was using propaganda, Russia was using propaganda. These young people all over West Africa and East Africa, they are behind Traore, and they're using this AI and making it happen. So, for example, you will see they had something to say, Usain Bolt sent a letter to Traore. Did not happen. Beyonce sang for Traore. Rihanna sang for Traore. The Pope, gave a speech and for Traore, and Traore gave a speech to, all of this it's AI generated. But as THIERRY says, is that it's lifting him up that can be seen as a positive thing, because then people will believe, that he's somebody of importance and people love him, and I think that's what the young people are trying to do.
Yeah, because when I'm watching the official videos and my friends who are living there as well, they don't want another Thomas Sankara. Right? Thomas Sankara had a great future, and you know what happened to him. So they're trying to stop that from happening.
Yes. And someone is talking to us again about the computer. You know what they do? They go on and once they start to dislike, or they're not dislike, they report us. And I'm convinced, THIERRY, that there's a set of people that they do it in groups. And I've been researching on this as well, on how, in terms of the algorithm. And if you have enough people who are reporting the page, then the algorithm responds, right? And basically, because it's not a human being that's doing it, right? So it responds because you have. So that's why when we ask you to like, so there are 833 of you watching tonight, and if all of you would just give a thumbs up, just hit the thumbs up button, right? And you can go across and you can see where it says subscribe. You can subscribe. If you do that, it will be very, very good for the show and helping us to fight back. Anything else, THIERRY?
No, please. You said the video was quick, but remember you gave me 20 minutes. You told me from 7:30 to 7:50.
I know, but it's
I just utilize my time back.
Yes, and that you see, and that's what I said. Look how much you were able to share. That's why I listen. My young people, I love everybody, and I love the seniors too. But my young people, they go and cut to the chase and get the job done, right? And somebody says that you're a great asset to the show, and they need you to get back on here on a regular. But can I say something? You and I know if THIERRY keeps coming here and on here for a regular, you finish UE as yet? When THIERRY finish UE, you have some people inside of this country will make sure this little boy don't eat. Let's talk it straight. Okay. So he will come on and talk about things like this, but he's got to protect his career because you know what happens in this country. You very well know what happens in this country. Yeah.
I know very well. I know
Yes.
very well.
So Theory,
That's it.
thank you for joining us, and we want to wish you all the best in your studies.
Definitely.
And I do want to hear the GPA though. Don't mind. I still
It's,
want to hear. Do not hide from me. I want to hear the GPA.
I get totally point off. I get totally point off. That's all I can say. Don't let her like talking what happened. But
No, no, no. I'm here. You, I would never ask you to, but I am interested in making sure you're, I want to encourage you. You know, I'm always encouraging your Theory, and
that's
I wish you all the best. And anytime you have anything that you want to share with us, you know, you have a platform. Just
it,
tell
it,
me and I'll work it in.
it was just that because what made me really want to talk about it because my grandmother was watching the video and I sent it to you. My grandma was asking me, "Is this really to the grandma?" No. So I'm just saying that there are a lot of older persons who might fall victim to these scams, and I just really needed, I've been asking for a while to come and speak about it. So that's basically it. And anything else, I just call in and say my piece on the political side, and that's basically it.
Yes. All right, Theory. Keep safe. Take care of yourself,
Yeah, you as
and
well.
God bless. Okay.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much. All right,
Bye
bye.
bye. Yes. Bye bye. So there you have it. There you have it, guys. Judith and Clark is saying great message. And I can tell you, I mean, remember, we love Africa, but a lot of scamming become from Africa. A lot of Jamaicans are in a lot of scamming. And I tell you, when they get hold of this, Lord of mercy, you better hold on to your money in your bank account and know what you're doing, because they will scam you off your dress, off your body, the teeth out your mouth. Yeah. It's very, very important that we do that. Well, I am seeing here, I'm supposed to have Mr. Umar Abdullah on, but I'm not seeing him yet. But I see Mr. Adrian Hines is on, so I'm going to ask him. Are you ready, Adrian? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right. Yes, Mr. Hines, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Marcia. Good evening to the loyal opposition. I am doing fantastic.
Listen, have you been getting any feedback from the last show?
Honestly, I have not been looking. I've been in my work, so maybe there's out there. I did. A couple of people sent me stuff. I can't say it was of the last show, but yeah, some people send me stuff, of encouragement. That they like the stuff that I say. So hopefully this will all transition into other folks doing the same. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Coming forward, and because remember, Adrian used to be there in the comment section, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
sometimes we came on here, we dreaded what he was going to tell us in the comment section. Well, he's now here. He's now here with us on the screen. And this is why I was saying to them, to make sure you keep our voices heard. Don't stop. Don't stop speaking because we have something to say. Right? And I'm
Yeah.
sure that you had to think, you thought about it, whether you really want to come on the show, right?
Oh, absolutely. I actually, what's her name? Michelle, the lady from Florida, that
Yes.
was on.
Hi,
Right.
Michelle. Michelle is in Barbados now. Hi,
Oh,
Michelle.
she is. Okay. Yeah, she we hooked up on LinkedIn, and she was asking me about it, and I was like, I said, look, I have some of the same, feelings as Barbadians. This, growing up, being condescended towards, being talked down to, being made fun of,
Yes.
So there's that fear that people have to overcome. And I said, yeah, I still have some of that, and that's why I
She's
have to
on
come on.
tonight, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle, we have to link up. We're going to link up tomorrow. She said Adrian is to the front of the class. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, after that conversation, I said, yeah, I probably will take a dig at it. So after making that commitment, I thought I had to jump in, But a part of it too is that I truly believe that this should be a space primarily for Barbadians at home to
Mhm,
speak up.
mhm.
And I didn't want to seem like I'm coming in and
Yeah,
not
I
living there
understand.
and take over. And I'm willing to give way to anybody who in Barbados who wants to come in and have their say, you know. Um, but until then, I'm here and I will continue to speak my truth and hopefully it will resonate with Barbadians to do the right thing for
Yes.
themselves.
Yes. Well, before we in our we're just because I call Adrian a lot when if somebody dropped out, and truthfully people dropped out tonight. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad, and I do have Mr. Umar Abdullah would be coming on a little later. But I sent you and when you're on, I throw things at you.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
And how many of you did you see the article where the government sets new target for rum exports? Anybody seen the article about, and Adrian is laughing already. I'm waiting on them to say. Anybody seen the article about these new this is Ryan Straw now, the Minister of Finance. As he said, the announcement came on Tuesday from the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Straw, as Mount Gay, the world's oldest rum distillery, unveiled the Cognac Cask Expression, the 8th edition in the company's master blend collection. While acknowledging to the Daily Nation that the target was ambitious, Straw said, "We have to be pragmatic about partnerships in rum and other industries," right? Listen, folks, let me say, anybody out there, did you hear? Nobody heard? Yes, his Harris said yes. Listen, I want you to listen. These are the people that are in government. He is the Minister of Finance. Tell me if there's any hope for Barbados. Listen to him. He told an audience which witnessed the product launch at Mount Gay's distillery that currently exports 1 million in rum. They export 1 million in rum. The minister said, "We want to push that to 1 billion." 1 billion. They currently, no, this man have faith, boy. Listen, this man, in churches say, yeah, it's either foolishness or faith. What is this, Barbados? Ryan Strong, the Minister of Finance, he's the one who's supposed to know the numbers, right? and just before you comment, I want to read the comment from Mr. Do you want to read the comment from Mr. What? Do you have it to hand?
From who? Michael Howard or
From Michael, it's Michael Howard, I think it is. Or I have it. I'll read it. I have it.
yeah, okay.
I think it's either Wood or Howard. You know,
Michael Howard, yeah, the economist, yeah. He
these
says
are economists.
yeah.
And this young man would have studied economics. He is a Minister of Finance.
Mm-hmm.
They said Barbados has become a truly amazing place where politicians talk foolishness with impunity. Barbados exports approximately 50 million in rum. Without any plan to increase rum exports even gradually, Minister Ryan Strong makes the idiotic, outrageous announcement that government wants to increase rum exports to an unattainable $1 billion. Listen, election is in the area here, people. Listen carefully to these people. Idiotic. In his haste to sound impressive, Mr. Strawn must have forgotten that 1 billion equals to 100 million. An increase from 50 million to 1 billion is 1900% increase. Right? And this economist, whoever he is, he did the accounting. Right? And he worked it out and showed us it's a 1900% increase. You believe them? In suggesting that the local rum industry can increase imports 20 times by 1900%, Mr. Strawn has done an injustice to the economics profession and the Department of Economics at Caveville campus.
This is what happens when you get economists lawyers, accountants, otherwise very professional, very erudite people become politicians. The politician part of it just takes over. Um, we know that there is a section of the Barbadian public that like to hear exciting things,
Mm-hmm.
use of big words and positive things. No one hear anything negative at all, you know. And I think this might be part of it where the charge now is for all of the BLP ministers of government when they take to the podium to whatever they have to say is to magnify it, you know, to magnify it, so it touches people. And so all of this is part of to increase, hopefully increase the likability of the government, that the government is doing things, you know, when in fact they really aren't. All they're talking about is things to come, coming soon. Um, this is next 5 years. I want somebody to really catalog all of these statements that these people make with regards to what they planned to do, and then so that we can have this list and we could do a checklist to see which of these things are actually coming to fruition or even started for that matter, you know. But this is all part of, yeah, of paint on old houses kind of thing. You know, it looks good, but there's really nothing there.
But this is the same thing when I sat down and I heard them. They were on the campaign trail and they had it in their manifesto. And where they said they were going to do 10,000 houses. I said to my husband, these people mad. And people are there clapping, they're drinking the
Yes.
Kool-Aid. And we can see that it was nonsense because we haven't seen, I don't even think that they've done 1,000 homes.
1,600
I
is
don't
what I
know.
thought I saw. I saw an article that says that.
That they've done how many?
1,600.
They've
I,
done
I
1,600.
yeah,
And this is how many years?
7 years.
7 years. They were
Yeah,
supposed to do 10 million.
yeah, yeah. It's I hope people really, you know, focus on the reality. Hear the words. The old saying, you know, action speaks louder than words. This government is full of words. The lot of long talk has continued, and it's been exacerbated. It's magnified now. It's all talk, folks. Ask where the action is to commiserate with the talk,
Yeah.
and that's where they're going to be lacking. And
But
and that's where. Go ahead. Mhm.
no, go ahead,
No,
Adrian.
I said, and that's where the focus. That's where the part of the strategy is to lay focus elsewhere on the DLP, on everything else except that they don't have any activity to match the lofty promises and words that they get to the podium and make.
Yeah. We were just talking about deep fakes. How it's hard to tell. And what all you've got to do is to look at the BLP.
Hmm.
Look at the ministers, deep fakes.
Hmm.
Every time they open their mouths, they're making these promises that it's just not realistic. When the
Yeah.
prime minister says, "Okay, we're going to leave the IMF, but I'm going to keep I'm keeping them on speed dial." She's not leaving any IMF, people. She's not leaving no
she
IMF.
she can't. The government doesn't have any money. They continue to spend more than they take in. And I didn't I see recently again they got another $200 million from somebody. Yeah, it's that's another thing that needs to be cataloged. I think this guy
Someone is doing
Winston,
it.
yeah, somebody has cataloged the amount of loans and debt. Yeah, this is all. They don't have any money, and they're not doing a good job of saving money, in ensuring cutting waste. They're not doing any of that. They're just talking and talking up a big game, and trying to focus Barbadians elsewhere, away from their inefficiency.
Yeah. Anybody remember out there remember education reform when they did this big launch of it? And I think it was at Frank Coloma Hall. They spent so much money, they had a big thing, and it was just lavish. And there has been no reform.
Yeah.
None. Not even a common entrance that they said they wanted to change. You remember how they're going to be teaching robotics and all of these things? When I tell you zero. So when you see The prime minister herself is a big deep fake by herself. When she's talking, don't believe. Don't believe. Folks, I want you to put in the comment sections all the promises that they have made that they have either not kept at all, that you can remember, or it was half kept or quarter kept, right? Even the
Yeah.
roads that they ran and tried to start to fix the roads. And
Yeah.
as soon as the rain fell, the couple of days, the potholes were there again.
Look what Alfred Benjamin is telling us. That's a good way of looking at it. Ask people
Where
in
is
there.
it?
10,000 houses is 909 houses per parish.
Parish.
So we should ask people to, can you drive around in your constituency and see if you can count 909 houses, new houses, or ask your minister, your constituency representative. Granted, if there were 900 new houses in a constituency, we would have known about that, because that is something for them to brag about. I could see if it was in St. Thomas, I could see Cynthia out there, calling in all the news media. She might even call you too, Marcia, to come and publicize the fact that she's produced 909 houses for St. Thomas. But we ain't saying none of that. We ain't saying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at even Rose is saying, Rose Corbin. I wanted
Yes.
her on tonight. Hi Rose. I know we're gonna try again for her probably Sunday night or Monday. We'll just look at her schedule. But Miss Corbin saying here, Manifesto 2008, mission critical. Remember, education transformation. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
Have they delivered? Education follow bleeps and blunders.
2008 or 2018?
2018.
Right, 2018. Okay.
18, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And people here talking, they promise to reduce VAT. Your VAT reduce it. You see what they're deep fakes.
Yes.
That's what they are.
Yes.
Deep fakes.
And they have all this money in reserves, yet still one of the things that was introduced to slow the spending of reserve, the forex fee, that 2.5% fee, is still there. Why is it still there if we have all this money in reserves? Why is it still there? One of the senators spoke about it. It's a glaring example of why what they say should be taken with a grain of salt.
A big grain of salt. And all you've got to think is this. I mean, I don't know why he would embarrass himself. Who would have caused Ryan Strachan to come in front of the camera and say something so ridiculous?
Because he ain't speaking to us. He's speaking to the BLP crowd. People that can
The
clap
BLP crowd.
Because they will believe anything. Yeah.
How you can move from 1 million to 1 billion?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What about the integrity in public life legislation?
Yeah.
Where is that? Where is that? That not pass, That not pass. That one not going to be. Listen, I think it's passed, but it's not proclaimed yet. It's not in law. It's not law yet.
That cannot come into use or fruition, because we are uncovering a whole set of things that I think would have been captured under integrity legislation, anti-corruption legislation, all that good stuff. So if we can see this, and we have questions about things that don't add up, so clearly, you're not going to see an integrity legislation, because there are things out there or things in there that, if they get out, would make people go, "Oh, but look what these people are doing, though," And they don't need it. And this whole thing about being a small country.
I see my other guests there, but we just take 5 minutes on this, because I didn't see him before, so then I brought you in. So thank you, Umar. Give us a little 5 minutes, and Adrian is going to come back to us. But let's read some of the comments that they have there. The people have. Jonathan is saying, "Where would the molasses to make the 1 billion in rum come from?" Just think practically. We don't even have the infrastructure. We don't even have a sugar industry.
Yeah.
This man need to, oh my goodness. Can somebody slap some sense in his head? We don't even have a sugar in. How would we make 1 billion?
Yeah, and to get $1 billion in sales, you have to have a market for it, and rum has to compete with some spirits out there. I don't know that. Not saying it's not possible, but I don't know that rum is all of a sudden going to outstrip the sales of other liquors to achieve this goal. It's not. The liquor industry is not open for the sales of rum alone. There's so many other different spirits. So Good luck on that.
But we want people to stop, and I want you to think. This is what we're trying to do, guys. For you to think, just like how Jonathan is thinking, and think about Miss McLean just came up on here and talked to us about the sugar industry. It's going nowhere. So that means that Ryan Strawn didn't talk to the Minister of Agriculture to let him know we barely have a sugar industry. That he could come to make such a statement.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, people are putting so many things on here, you know, that they have promised us.
And all good questions too, all good concerns, all good observations, you know, and that's what people need to do. If you don't understand something, you know, ask the questions so that you can get to understand it. You know, don't be fearful. Don't think that this thing is above you. If you're curious enough and you want a question, you want an answer, right? You know, if he's making the statement, go and ask him. You know, how do you figure this out? 1 billion, that doesn't make sense. You know, he may or may not have I don't think he would have an answer, but yeah, ask for confirmation. You know, so yeah.
I want to challenge everybody that's watching this weekend. Use your Instagram page. Use your Facebook page. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of these people, and begin to list the broken promises, list the lies.
Yes.
Just start to list them.
Yes.
It's all of us. It's over 1,000 of us on here. Just list them. It's your page, after all. Use it. We can't depend on the traditional media to do it. You have the people like the Slocums and all these people that are looking for a job. They're going to sing for the supper. They're going to go on and say what they want to say. Right? But
News of Barbados.
Oh my
yeah. How do you pronounce that name? Euceline?
Euceline.
Euceline. I'm sorry, Euceline. I'll get to practice your name and so I can say it correctly. Yeah, this is absolutely correct. Everybody was saying, not everybody. The opposition turned government BLP made that promise that the NSRL, the cost of living will go down. We didn't see that. There were some other promises they made as well. With regards to the corporation tax that they reduced, you know, and then they started begging and slightly demanding corporations to share the benefits of that reduction. That hasn't happened, and there's no history. Look, businesses are in operation to make money. They're not in nothing to share with nobody. And we see this from way back with Richie Hinds when he did a 15% corporation tax reduction or something like that. With the hope that it would spur the economy, this whole trickle-down economic crap. And it didn't work. It never works. You know, it never works. That's the trap to get the legislators to buy into it. That's the trap to get Barbadians to buy into it. But it never happens. Nothing ever trickles down to us. Yeah, you know, so. Yeah, this is a good observation as well.
And people went and marched in the hot sun and everything. All that happened, it benefited the white merchant in this country.
Yeah.
The white merchants are those that benefited when Brenda Stewart and the DLP were trying to help us.
Yes.
And guess what? They come now, they took that away, and they tell, you're not going to get any road tax, but they put on the fuel tax, though. And they added so many more taxes on us. Look at the last thing I'll mention is the recycling. Anybody, what have you been doing with your blue recycling container? Anybody? I've used it as cat litter. Anybody else? Yeah, I had a new cat, so I trained a cat inside of there. Anybody, I don't even know where mine is right now. Where's your red bin? Some people put the baby inside of it, and she is Miss Climate Change, she's Miss Environment, and took up money, buy these huge bins, and give everybody a recycling container. Have we used it, Barbados? It's only gimmicks. Anytime you think, when you go outside and you see the garbage container and you see the blue recycling bin, that's all you have to look at. Just look at that, and you will see this is what this government is. All smokes, you know, it just smokes and what the mirrors just
smokes and mirrors,
nothing real.
Yeah.
They didn't teach us about recycling. They have no system of recycling in place, but they went and spent money And what I heard, there is a business here that they use Adrian, to buy those things, and they bought it from that business, a white company, white merchant, that they bought those bins and the recycling containers from. And guess what? Recycling containers not being used. All that happens is that the same garbage collectors, because they know we have the big bin, Adrian, sometimes all 3 weeks they come to move the garbage. When you open it, it stinks with maggots.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But
I don't know. I live in a small town up here, and I can tell you, man, that the mayor that we have now, we've had him, I think, going on 15 years now. Nobody don't even try to challenge him anymore. The first thing he came in, he made sure it's very simple. He says, I make sure garbage, sewage, electricity, roads, right? Smoothest roads I've ever seen in my town, you know. So anybody that had, initially some people tried to run against him, and people were like, for what purpose?
why are you going to get rid of him?
What are you gonna get rid of him for? For what purpose? The man doing what he's supposed to do, right? And he does such an effective job that, yes, things are going up, you know, property taxes going up and stuff like that, and we are grumbling, you know, but we are thankful because the basic amenities, right? We don't have to worry about, or you know, the snow gets removed, the streets are swept, you know. Hurricane storms come and people, other towns flood out, and electricity gone for days and stuff like that. We don't have those problems, you see.
Yes.
And those are the important things, and those are the reasons why he is still in power, because if he doesn't do it, we'll kick him to the curb, you know, regardless
Yeah.
of who you think he is or what party from, you know. And that's where Barbadians, we need to get there. Put yourself in the center. I don't care what the party, if they ain't doing right, move them, you know.
Yeah, and it's time to move these. It is time to, don't be afraid.
Oh
Don't,
yeah.
listen to me. Anybody can do better than what these are doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anybody. When I don't have the exact figure, but I'm going to get the figure, the price of these bins, because somebody who worked in one of these offices told me, she was hopping mad and called me. And it is a white merchant that was the supplier of those bins and thing. And we're not recycling. There's no system in place of recycling, but they picked up money and paid their friends.
Yes, it's all part. There's a strainer of people at the top. So anything coming into the country got to come through them first. So there's no surprise. You know, the only thing that's left now is to tell us who it is of that group, you know, that crowd. You know, the two fews, the shadows, the elites. You know. But that's how Barbados is, and people are at the bottom, you know, looking up and taking whatever little thing drop through, you know. And then they got people just below them that are seen as community leaders. The new word now is influencers, who get a little bit more than everybody else, and they you know, are more interested in protecting their little largesse. So they will sing the tune and try to keep people in place so that they can continue to get their larger than most drop-ins, and the whole trickle down concept continues to benefit the two fews in the shadows.
The last comment I say in this segment, and Adrian is going to come back after Mr. Umar Abdullah, because we have to talk about Dominica.
Yes,
because my girl gone over there and the people don't want her there. But listen, somebody, I want to make a correction here. We're talking about merchants, because I tell you something, it's not everybody in the white community that's a merchant and that's benefiting from that. Let me tell you, it's not really so.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about that, we're talking about merchants, and in some cases they're Indian merchants as well. It's not, but I was saying in this particular case it was a white merchant.
That's why that's why I say remnants of the planter class. That's why I say the merchant class. That's why I say the shadows, you know, the two fews, because, you know, things have gotten to a stage where it is not delineated by color anymore. Right? It is about class. Right.
It's about class. Thank you. So
Yeah.
that comment, I don't agree with that comment there at all. But let's bring Miss you can stay in, or if you want to go out and come back in.
I'll go out. I'll go back into the
yes, into green room. I know you'll be there preparing some other things. Let's bring Mr. Umar Abdullah, whom we have not seen in ages, sir. How are you doing? Welcome. Open your microphone. Um,
Oh yes, I'm okay, Marcia. Getting by day by day, looking at all what's happening locally, regionally, internationally. I'm never surprised. We were expecting all these things to come. Is if we are prepared? That's a big question. And how are we
yes,
going to respond? What's our
yes,
response to all of this? And I think
yes.
that's where they're going to catch us if we're not prepared.
Yes, yes. And you I want to again publicly thank you for your work, Mr. Umar Abdullah, during the COVID-19 era. And I believe that's how we got connected. And I want to thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's that. And it went on to other issues. But I want to thank you so much for the work you have done. On behalf of the rest of the Caribbean, because you helped a lot of us with information, etc. And tonight is no different through the first wave movement. And we have to say a big hello to Naeem. Can I say it publicly?
Yes, of course.
Oh, right. So Naeem from the first wave movement is in Barbados. And I'm going to find him and I'm going to, interview him right here in Barbados and Mike on the Move. Good night, Naeem. He messaged me and said he just got into Barbados. So good night, Naeem. But sir, when we talk about COVID, for a lot of us, it's not a distant memory. A lot of people are still feeling the effects of COVID, and
Yeah.
not so much of having COVID, but of what we were told to take to prevent COVID. And some people, I remember in the initial stages, a lot of people said that people were making up these ailments that they had, that they weren't really sick, that that they didn't have any issues from the COVID injections, the preventative measures that were put in place. But we are now seeing that actually that that is not so. In fact, just before you start, I want to give the context here, because Umar, I sent you a document today which states that now 3 years later, 4 years ago, 4 years later, it is now mandatory. This is a fact. This is not theory. You can go and check it, Google it. But it's now mandatory that a label be put on the product that we were told to put in our arms for preventative purposes. They now say that a warning label must be put on the product. The FDA orders Pfizer, Moderna to update the those things and add heart injury risk, mainly in teenage boys and young men. You believe that? And of course, some other things that they now are saying that they are to put the warning on it. And while it is the same thing they were using. So tell us what your movement, first wave movement, has done as a result.
Well, presently we are engaging the new administration here in Trinidad and Tobago. As you know, there were general elections just recently, and we have a new administration in place. And they, of course, as you were talking earlier, the politicians, they offer a lot of promises on the campaign trail, and they too had offered a lot of promises, a lot of things that they're going to do once they come into government. And I would have written the Prime Minister very early, congratulating her on her win and her victory, and reminding her of some of those promises that she had made and to do good by them, and also remind her of those that she had forgotten. And
Yes.
One of the things that we specifically, asked her to look into was to, establish a national vaccine injury compensation fund. To support to give immediate support to all the victims of
Yes.
those persons who would have taken those injections during the COVID and what have you, and so on. And we all know the stories, government complicit involvement in forcing persons to take those jobs. In one instance in Trinidad and Tobago,
Yes.
they were actually, threatening the workers to take those jobs. And if they didn't take them, they would have lost their jobs, and they would have, a lot of issues came out as a result of that. We had the lockdowns. We had the vaccine card permits that you had to present before you go into restaurants and bars and what have you and so on. So all these things created a sort of an atmosphere that indicated to the citizenry, if you don't take these injections, life is not going to be the same anymore.
Yes.
So they went ahead and took these injections, obeying whatever regulations that was there in place, thinking that they were doing the best for themselves, for their families, and for the country. All right, not knowing that they are going to be suffering silently, long after. And we have had recent conversations with a number of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who have told us, frankly, after taking that injections, their health has never been the same. And they have been constantly visiting the health centers, the doctors, the homeopaths and so on, the natural remedy centers and so on, for relief. And to no avail. They have to continue spending a lot of money. Some of those individuals, they can't work anymore. They took it to save their jobs.
Really?
Now they can't even work. All right. So we have a lot of those cases.
Are you getting a lot of people coming forward to say that they're hurt?
Well, yes, not a lot of them, but there are cases coming forward continuously. We are recognizing that, especially when we have the conversation with them. They would come out and tell us, it's true. When we took that injection, because life for us has never been the same. We're experiencing fatigue. We're experiencing this, that, and the other. Blood cuts. A lot of persons would have called us and complained about losing their families, losing their loved ones, all of a sudden, for no reason at all, end up in the hospital with heart failure, never suffered with heart problems before, blood clots, never suffered with these things before, stage 4 cancer is showing up in patients, and they have never had cancer issues before. They've never had stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. When they go to the doctor and they're diagnosed, they've been told that they have stage 4 cancer.
I've heard of that one. I've definitely heard of that, a lot of that. Yeah.
Right. And they don't last long after that. So the families are beginning to realize, and silently they're hurting, they're in pain, they're suffering, and by right, the government ought to reach out to these people and see what they can do to help and assist these people in their condition as it is right now. Yes. What about those persons who can't work anymore? Where they're getting an income? How they're taking care of the families? Those mountain bills that they had before, car payments, house payments, all these things. They're having to the challenge of having to make those payments every month. How they're getting the monies? Some of those individuals may perhaps resort to crime. All right.
Yeah.
Just so that they can make ends meet and float above the water. So it's very, very difficult, and we have seen that happen in the end. That indication or that order that was given for those labels to be placed on those products. Marcia Weeks, let me tell you the truth. Every product you buy, right? If you listen to those advertisements, those over-the-counter drugs,
yes,
a greater part of those advertisements will tell you the side effects of those medicines or those medications, and they would inform the customers or the clients what are the side effects and so on and so forth, and what they ought to do, what they're not supposed to do, etc., etc. Why was this never done with injections? Why was this? It's a medical product, all right? And outside of a voluntary informed consent, you're being asked to take this, you're being forced to take it, and you're being told that you have to. Look at our school immunization program. Our children are being asked that if they don't take these immunization or these injections, they will not be allowed to enter the schooling system. Right? Why are you putting this over and above the right to an education,
Yes, yes.
right? This has nothing to do with the right to an education. So
Mhm.
why are you saying that I have to risk giving my child an injection now, and my child may turn out to have, some mental disorder or some, adverse reaction as a result of taking these injections, and I'm the
Mhm.
one who will have to live with that.
Yes.
I'm the one who will have to cope with my child. Okay, just so that you would have a document in your hand or a card in your hand that says that this child had received the injections. And another thing, according to our laws here in Trinidad and Tobago, it's illegal to ask anybody for their medical status. You can't just go and ask people for their medical status. You ask them for a immunization card, and you prying into their health status and all these things and so on and so forth. So that's why the school insisting on students or parents presenting this immunization card. It's
Yes.
against the law. All right. So we have to revisit all these legislations. We have to revisit the acts, and we have to look closely at what it is we have been doing to our citizens. And we have to be very, very cautious in moving forward, because we don't want a bright lawyer to come on the scene and find somewhere to sue you and the government and all that goes with it. All right. Because it's going to happen. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. All right. We have
Yes.
many cases before the industrial courts in Trinidad presently with regards to work-related issues regarding the injections and so on. And every one of those matters was won before the courts thus far. All right. We're waiting, and we're looking at this particular case that has been recently filed in the courts regarding Alicia Ciberan Francis, who would have received these injections, and then she would have gotten transverse myelitis, and she endured
What's the name of the
a
disease
life
again?
of separation and pain after that. Huh?
What's the name of the disease?
Transverse myelitis. All right,
What's
you're
that?
paralyzed. Right, you're incapacitated. You're practically, your life is in a wheelchair. You don't have mobility with your feet and so on. You can't stand up, you can't walk, etc., etc. And this girl would have taken this injection due to force, and she was told if she don't take it, she would not have a job. Well, she could not have worked after that. She could not have worked after that. And the pain and the suffering that this girl had gone through after taking that injection, which eventually led to her death. All right, on her death certificate, it did indicate there is an indication on the death certificate that is linking her death to the effects of the injections.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So that matter is before the courts, and we're hoping that we would be able to set a precedent with that matter. And so I think it is very, very much prudent at this point in time to call on the government to do the best to address this issue, because we have a number of
okay, he's stuck. Okay, we're not hearing you again, Umar.
silent sufferers in Trinidad and throughout. Yes.
We're hearing
You hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you now, sir.
Right. So it's absolutely important that this new administration, address this issue, because they have one of their promises on the campaign trail was to be fair and just to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I think this is a good place to start.
Yes, yes. But how? I mean, what is it? What is it that this UNC government promised when they were campaigning? Did they say that they are going to compensate those who are injured from this the COVID injection? Is that what they said? What did they actually say to the people of Trinidad and Tobago?
Right. I'm back.
Yes, you're back. Did
You
you hear
now?
me? Yes,
Right.
I'm hearing you. Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard the question. I heard the question. Yes. No,
Yes.
they didn't, directly said that they were going to compensate the victims of these, of the injections and so on, and those who were affected after taking those injections. But they
You
did
said
say
that
they
they
were going to
said it or they
compensate.
didn't.
They didn't say it.
Okay.
All
What
right.
did they say?
But they did say they were going to compensate the families of the divers that died that tragic accident in Paria.
So hold
They
a
did
minute.
say that they were going.
They didn't say anything about this, about this company, about this the job.
No,
Oh,
nothing
okay.
about the job. All right. And
Okay.
it's strange though. The doctor who is now the Minister of Health, um, um, he I heard he made mention of um, you know a new COVID episode that may perhaps uh, visit us anytime soon. And it's
Your
strange
Minister of
hearing
Health
that.
said that.
Yeah, and it's strange
Mhm.
that it's coming from him because he was one of those individuals, one of those doctors that were fervently opposed to the COVID and those injections and what have you. So now that he's in government and his politics, I don't know who is pulling the strings now. I mean, we know who will pull in the strings, but sometimes we ask those questions so that we educate the public by asking those questions. Those people who don't know will have an idea of who is pulling those strings. All right. And
Yes.
one of the things that a lot of us don't understand, and you were talking about it earlier, where they're going to get all this money to do this, that, and the other,
Right,
and,
because
and, and
yeah,
these
that's the
promises they're
next.
making,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah, yeah.
all right.
That's the question because
What?
our prime minister. Just a minute, I just want to say here quickly because somebody raised it that our prime minister, Mayor Mottley, did say, and we have it, we have it recorded that she would compensate those that were injured. And I have my friend on here, Judith Ann Clark, and she has the recording. She has everything that they did say it. She did say it, and only some people got you or one or two persons got, and she told them to keep quiet, right? But
Ah,
the, but a lot of people, the people who there's so many people that I know, and this is not, folks. I am not coming on here and making up any stories because anytime we start to talk about these things, some of you don't want to believe there are people that are actually suffering and they're suffering in silence because they're afraid. I have a lot of friends with blood clots. You hear what I tell you? They've developed heart problems. Look on the screen, you will understand in some of the cases why. Some of it is hereditary, and some of it is because of this that they took in their bodies. And it's a real
but
issue.
my team leader, Naeem, would be visiting a friend of ours there in Barbados, who have indicated to us that he has been suffering as a result of that injection, and a lot of his friends who have taken it are also suffering. And we are hoping that we will be able to get, an interview with some of these individuals whilst he's there. So he has some
Wow.
directives, and he has a task, some tasks there to complete while he's in Barbados. So we are hoping to, cover as much as we can. And of course, he is going to be meeting with you, and we are going to try to see if we could cement some of our programs and or initiatives and working together and so on, to try to change what is happening in the Caribbean region.
So
One of the
what do
things I
you
wanted
really
to
want
point
to
out,
get? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, one
Go
of the things
ahead.
I wanted to point out though concerning the labeling of those injections. On every cigarette pack, there is a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to deter the smokers? No, it's not. So what I'm saying what I mean by saying that is we don't need a label on those injections. We need it to be taken off the market. All right. There was a policy with the FDA that if there were 50 persons complaining about a medication or an injection or medical procedure, they would immediately take that product off the market. 50 persons. All right. Where is that law? Where is that policy as regards to these injections? All right. We have seen deaths. We have seen injuries, lifelong injuries. People are suffering in silence. There has been many reports, and yet still they're coming to tell us they're putting a label, a warning label on these products. All right. I don't think the warning label is enough, because outside of voluntary informed consent, nothing is going to work. All right. That is not going to work. Okay. People need to be informed before they be given these injections. They don't need to see a warning on a pack. They don't need to see a warning on a label. Because, like I said, every cigarette packet has a warning on it. And if you read that warning, right, it's detrimental to your health. Does that deter the smokers? It doesn't. All right. Would that deter the persons who are bent hell on believing government and government policy and the health institutions and the doctors that they visit on a regular basis? Would that be enough to deter them? I don't think so. What we need to do is to lobby to take these injections off the markets, and we are not going to stop in our effort to do that. All right, we're going to continue to rally and to see that these poisons are taken off the market and something better is put in place. All right, it's very important that we recognize this.
Yes, and somebody here is saying something here about GBS. Sim, what is GBS? I don't know. Can somebody educate me? Remember this, that we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, we agitate on the Marcy Week show, and the host gets educated too. So what is GBS? Do you know, Omar? Oh, can Valerie Granum help
that's
us
the
with that? Valerie
I think
Granum,
it's
and I think yeah, go ahead.
just hold on, I'm just checking it here.
Checking it out.
Well, the person cares to clarify.
They call Gian Barry. Oh, Gian Barry, is that how it's pronounced? Gian Barry syndrome. I have to go and look that up. I don't know what that is. What is that? Somebody can type in the chat and educate all of us, or just me and Umar. You probably all know. Now,
Right, so the Guillain-Barré syndrome, it's a rare autoimmune disorder where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the peripheral nerves, leading to muscle weakness, numbness, and in severe cases, paralysis. Symptoms
read it again,
often
please.
start.
Can you read it one more time? Read it one more time,
All right.
please.
It is a rare autoimmune disorder where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the peripheral nerves, leading to muscle weakness, numbness, and in severe cases, paralysis. Symptoms often start with tingling in the hands and feet and can progress rapidly, sometimes affecting breathing and heart function. Right? They're saying here, while the exact cause is not cause is unknown, GBS is often triggered by infections, surgery, or in rare cases, vaccinations.
Wow.
And that was a side effect that was listed in the Pfizer document. That was one of the side effects, yes.
Wow. But the challenge, though, and this is the last point that we have to we have to discuss, Omar, before you go, is when you think that so many side effects, and there were some people who were, it became mandatory for. There were people here in Barbados, while it was not made mandatory by the government, there were those in the private sector, especially the hotel industry. I know of people that they were saying you can't come to work if you haven't taken the shot. There were people in, wasn't it St. Vincent, that were laid off and lost their job to this day. Umar, how just is that when you, I mean, when you think that it's this dangerous, and now
Well,
they're issuing a warning.
would you believe that there are companies in Trinidad that they're still asking for persons to be injected before they get get the job?
Go again, please. Okay, wait, can you repeat, please, sir? You're stuck.
That companies in Trinidad, there's some companies in Trinidad that are still asking persons to get those injections in order to get employment. All right, so it's still happening. All right, it has never stopped. If you people think it has stopped, if you think the health ministry or the government has stopped in their quest to have everyone in your country injected with these with this however you want to call it or describe it, they are not going to stop. All right, you may not hear about it for some time, but they have people in places, in institutions that are pushing this narrative, and they're not letting up at all. So we have to be
Yeah.
ever so vigilant, and we have to be very, very cautious. Governments is going to come and go, but the policies would remain the same.
Yes.
Sometimes, in many cases, all you're changing is the driver behind the seat or behind the steering wheel. All right,
Yeah.
it's the same ship, it's the same vehicle, whatever conditions it's in, that they are maneuvering and they're attempting to get from one point to the next.
Yes.
We
Yes.
also have to keep in mind, Marcia Weeks, we also have to keep in mind these international arrangements and agreements and so on that we have with these international non-elected bodies. We are tied to these organizations by certain clauses, certain requirements that we have to fulfill in order to continue getting support from them.
Yes.
And as much as governments or the administrations, different islands would attempt to promise good things to the people, there's a price that comes with it. And
Yes.
that price is tied to these international arrangements and agreements. So as much as the government will tell you they're going to give you this, they're going to give you better roads, they're going to ensure that you have electricity, all these things they're going to give you. They may not be lying when they tell you that, but it's the price that you're going to have to pay for that. Would you have to subject your child to a comprehensive sexuality education program? Would you have to subject your citizens, the citizens of your country, your state agencies, to be infiltrated by the LGBTQ, right? Would we have to compromise our sovereignty? Would we have to give away our sovereignty? These are the questions that we have to ask. What price is there that we have to pay in order to receive this? Are you being sincere with us? Are you being sincere with us? Are you telling us you're going to give us this and there's no strings attached? This is what the people needs to know. This is what they need to find out. So in your rally, in your upcoming election, these are some of the deeper questions that needs to be asked. What are the strings attached to this promise that you're making? What it is that we're going to have to give up in order to get this? Sometimes it is not worth it. It is not worth it. And we have to be very, very careful. And we are seeing this with this new administration that has been put in place here. I've already signaled the warning. All right, we are willing to support them, and we are willing to stand by them as long as they do good by the people. But we are looking deep into these promises and how they're going to deliver these promises and what is the price that we're going to have to pay in order to receive that. All right,
Yes.
You tell your little child, your little boy and girl at home, if you do this, you're going to get this.
Yes.
All right. So, in other words,
Okay, so he's stuck, but we got stuck there, but we're
I'm
close. If
giving
you
you
have a minute,
something.
Yes,
But
in
I need
1 minute we're closing because you got stuck there a bit. So we're closing off. So say your final piece and
right,
then we're
right.
moving
So
on to the next
what
segment.
what I have to say, is not just for Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados, but it's for the entire region, the entire Caribbean region. We as a people, we have to continue to seek and find ways to work together, to join forces with each other and fight for the common good of the Caribbean man. All right.
Yeah.
We have seen this initiative started in the past, and many things would have happened, challenges, obstacles in the way, and it would have been eroded. There's no semblance of it presently, but we can make that happen. We can make that difference. And all we
Yes.
need to do, and I've sent Naim in there. Naim have come in there in Barbados, and he's there on a particular task. And we want to we want to connect with the activists there in Barbados. We want to connect with those persons who are serious about change, are serious about changing our way of lives, serious about providing a beautiful future for children and so on. And we want to meet all these people. We want to work with them, and we want to make that connection. And we want those connections to remain secure and stable. All right,
Yes.
throughout the Caribbean region.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Umar Abdullah, and for always coming with something for us to think about and ways that we can work together. I'm seeing somebody here already who's saying, I want to meet Naeem and I want him to record my story. And I tell you, that person who said that, Judy, remember to give me a call. Tomorrow's a busy day for me. I'm trying to see Naeem tomorrow, and I will help him to record your story, Judith. And anybody else who has a story to tell about these injections, I also you can give me a call. I also want to quickly say, before Mr. Umar Abdullah leaves, that when we do these shows, I know sometimes that people get a little worried. I'm very sensitive to that as well. And I want to say, keep the faith, eat well, do your exercises. I know, look at Judith. Judith has been diagnosed with these issues, and she has it on record from her doctor that it's as a result of the jabs. And Judith, she's fighting through. She's doing what the doctors has asked her to do. She's eating well. Judith goes on a protocol and a regime to help her body. And so I'm saying all hope isn't lost. Don't go to your bed depressed tonight. Fight to live, eat well. All of us have to eat well, right?
Not,
Eat
not
well
just that,
and exercise and do your herbs. Yes, and
not
we've
just
got to go.
not,
Yeah,
not just
go
that,
ahead.
Marcia. Let me just add this very quickly. It's important that we recognize the importance of family, keeping close to their families, not parting ways with them, living close and having good relationship with our neighbors and our friends. And those connections we need to keep close to us. We need to keep them secure, and that is going to help us pass the time. That is going to help us to survive, to live, to see another day. All right. So those relationships are very important. Let's pay attention to it, and let us not allow, evil to set in and to separate us under no circumstances.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdullah. God bless you. And we're going to continue to keep in touch.
Okay, take care. Bye. Thanks.
God bless. Yes. Wow. Very, very well said and very much needed. And I know a lot of you are suffering in silence. And to those people who did not take the vaccine, did not take the jab, did not take the injection, I want to say to us, to everybody, please be kind. Please be kind to one another. If you keep laughing at people and jeering people who took and those who didn't take, jeering the other group, when something goes wrong, then those people are going to suffer in silence. They will never come to you to ask you to help because they believe you're going to jeer them. Listen, all we have each other. It's a government that was forcing us to take these things. So don't please, I'm asking us, be kind to each other. Even in the comment section, be kind. listening, helping each other. Because a lot of people took it because they didn't know any better. They took it because that they needed to keep their job. Some people took it because they want to go see their grandchildren in the US. And for them, that is real. Okay? So be kind. I just want to put that out there. All right. So that is that. And then we are going to go into, before we open the phone lines, I'm going to bring Mr. back in, Mr. Adrian Hinds. Mr. Hinds, you're here. The
Yes,
people thought
Marcia.
you're gone, but you're not here. He's back here again with me tonight. And Mr. Hinds, I know I sent you some um, articles and some comments and some, lots of different things. And I would, about Dominica. Can you,
Yeah.
and I sent it to you late. Can we hear what you have researched and what you found out so far?
I found that most, I guess they're playing it down. Most of the things I found went back to the days of the Ross University
Mm-hmm.
issue, where a lot of Dominicans were blaming me and Mottley for poaching Ross University from Dominica, and so much so that it caused the Dominican Prime Minister and even the St. Vincent Prime Minister to step in and defend Mottley.
Mm.
This recent thing you mentioned, I did find something on that, and it's a short piece, so I can read
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, so yeah, there is current criticism in Dominica directed at the Barbadian Prime Minister Mia Mottley, primarily concerning her planned participation in the Dominica Labour Party's 70th anniversary rally scheduled for June 1st, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
The Electoral Reform Coalition, ERC, of Dominica has publicly objected to Mottley's involvement in the rally, arguing that her attendance while serving as the chair of CARICOM breaches the organization's long-standing principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of member states. The ARC contends that such participation could be perceived as endorsing the ruling Dominica Labour Party, which has faced criticism over alleged electoral irregularities and a lack of comprehensive electoral reform. They have urged Mortley to reconsider her decision and have called on other CARICOM leaders to advise against actions that might compromise the organization's impartiality. Additionally, there's public sentiment in Dominica expressing concern over Motley's support for Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett. Some citizens feel that her involvement in domestic political events may undermine efforts towards achieving transparent and fair electoral processes in the country. Critics argue that such action could be seen as prioritizing political alliances over the democratic principles that CARICOM upholds. While Motley has not publicly responded to these criticisms, the situation underscores the delicate balance CARICOM leaders must maintain between regional solidarity and respect for the international political dynamics for the internal political dynamics of member states. So I find two things about that stands out. One, I could see where Motley and whoever else will defend her right to go to Dominica, saying this is something that we do all the time, right? And I remember last time I asked this question about whether I've seen this correlation between certain political parties across the English-speaking Caribbean, and they all wear some semblance of red or orange, like the PNM in is it the PNM, the one that's run by
Trinidad. Mm-hmm. But
right,
yeah.
right, they wear red.
Mm-hmm.
The DLP in Dominica, they wear red. Gonzalez party, he wears red.
Mm-hmm.
In Jamaica, the opposition, they wear kind of red, orangey,
Orange, yeah. Mm-hmm.
orangey thing, and they're
Good
all like,
point.
yeah. So I like, and that's what happens. I see when political leaders from different countries they go to the conferences
Mm-hmm.
of member or associated political parties.
Mm-hmm.
But so I could see them using that as a defense to say we do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the big deal, right? But I think that the ERC has a good point that in her capacity as chairman of CARICOM, that to go that low, because that's a political thing. Her going to the DLP's 70th anniversary is all about politics, right? And going there as the CARICOM chairman doesn't look good. I agree with that. If she wasn't the chairman at the time, then I would say, well, hey, they've been doing this for the longest time, right? All the red shirt parties, they go to each other's conferences. So why to cry out? No, but in her capacity as chair of CARICOM, she should sit out this one.
I mean, I'm seeing, looking at an article here, and a statement from CARICOM dated the 10th of December 2024, that CARICOM was invited by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to deploy an election observation mission to observe the parliamentary elections to be held in 2025. And I'm saying, if CARICOM, this is a role that CARICOM, one of the roles of CARICOM, where they would, they would be deployed to a particular country to oversee or to observe the elections. And but if you are the chair of CARICOM and you are in support, already in support of a political party, how could you objectively, really and truly, observe elections when it's time for elections? Suppose Dominica was having their elections. How could the chair of the CARICOM now deploy people to observe the elections without it looking like there is something that is not fair in the process, or it doesn't look, everything doesn't look above board? You give the impression that there is something wrong with the whole thing. I'm looking for the right word, but I can't find it there.
Yeah.
You see what I mean, though?
No, absolutely. That's what I said. Yeah, she's chair of CARICOM, but she is attending the internal political conference of a political party that the party that she runs in Barbados has a friendship with, a political friendship with, right? So it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. You have this regional title, but you're going into another country in a partisan atmosphere, in a partisan environment. And I think that sullies, in my opinion, CARICOM, I think there's a disconnect between CARICOM and CARICOM people, CARICOM secretariat and CARICOM people, which isn't unusual, because there are a lot of English speaking governments that are up here and the people are down here. There's that disconnect, it's us and them kind of thing. So I could see them dismissing this as nothing, but if they truly want to gel and have the people see them as a valuable entity, the secretariat, that is, that the current chairman should take that into consideration and forget about, allying with political friends in Dominica for something as simple as a party conference, and do the right thing and send the right signal.
But let me show the people this. I think I sent this to you, Adrian. Dave is not hearing us. I'm doing.
I saw that on Facebook and I immediately caught myself DLP and read what but
yeah. but what has happened here, people? Those of you, I don't have Dave here with me tonight. He had to work like regular work, so I'm doing a lot of this myself. But if you look at it carefully, Mr. Hines, you would see that it's a picture.
Yeah,
it's an actual picture of Skerritt and Mottley, and this apparently. Let me read something here about this. How many of you remember Dr. Lennox Honeychurch?
Yes,
he's a historian, isn't he? A historian who worked on preserving a lot of Barbados's history and a lot of our heritage and the plantation homes, etc. He's Dominican, and he was he lived here, and he's now back in Dominica. And he wrote, "For my Bajan friends, meanwhile, the image of Mia Mottley is plastered across the highways and byways of Dominica to promote a national rally this weekend, a national political rally. And he's asking, is this Caribbean unity or is it that like minds and leaders flock together?
This
What
is
is this?
purely political, purely political.
Purely
I
political.
forgot that I saw this. This is purely political. There's an attempt here, based on what I've been reading, there's an attempt to ensure that Roosevelt Skerritt comes home again. And any and everything they can do to build that momentum that will make that possible, they're doing. They're trying. The belief is that Motley has a Caribbean presence, and that tying Motley to Skerritt will, some of that presence might rub off on him to bring him home again in an election. And also too, because I saw a known BLP person post it on Facebook, and I know that they did it primarily because of how the BLP is painting everything red in Barbados, and the Dominica Labour Party, its initials is DLP, right? So and the fact that the Barbados Labour Party, election-wise, 62 victories against the DLP, it could reasonably be said that the Barbados Labour Party is painting the DLP in Barbados red as well. So I captured all of that, given who posted that, the Barbadian BLP supporter who posted it on Facebook. I knew that that was the intent, right? To demonstrate that not only in Dominica, right, that they got a DLP that red, they got a DLP in Barbados that getting relics from the Red Party in Barbados.
Yes.
So clearly that in itself is a clear example that the ERC in Dominica has a legitimate concern, a legitimate right for Motley to separate her political alliances from the fact that she's the current chairman of CARICOM and stay out of Dominica political affairs at that level. I think that's a justification, but I think it's too far gone. I mean, look at those things plastered all over the place, right? So
Yes.
those should be coming down in addition to her staying out of Dominica. You know, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely wrong.
But look, this is from Dominicans who are putting this up on their page, and they are protesting her. It says Mia Motley was part of the barbaric act against the people of Salisbury. Salisbury. Is that Salisbury? I think that's
Salisbury. Yeah.
And what happened at Salisbury? Remember when they had the all the revolt and so on, when you know the opposition party was accusing Skerritt that he is padding the voters list, which Mr. Thorne is also accusing the government in Barbados right now of padding the voters list. And so people took to the streets to demonstrate and so on. And you know what happened is that Skerritt, in their minds, that they're saying Skerritt called and CARICOM called out the regional security services on the people of Dominica. And so the people are saying we will not forget that, because in their view, Motley is friends with Skerritt. So Motley helps Skerritt by sending, that's what they're accusing her of, by sending the RSS on the people, the regional security services, to deal with a domestic issue in Dominica. And the people are saying they will not forget that. I don't know if you saw that as well.
Yeah, I saw these, and I do remember that vaguely, and I just looked it up again. I remember the revolt and police marching through the streets with, you know, riot gear. It just amazes me how, you know, policemen and so I guess they have a job to do, but in these small countries where everybody can do that to their one another, it's just annoying. It's just amazing to me, and that people allow them to get away with it. But that's just me. Yeah, I saw that. I don't recall, you know, that there was much agitation against Mia Motley's involvement in that. I don't know that there is.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, it was. It was. I actually have an article here. Let me bring it up. Yeah, go ahead.
It would be. Yeah, I mean, this is a good rallying call if for folks who are anti-Skerritt, you know, and that they can rally Dominicans to the polls to not give him the victory that he's looking to get by bringing Motley into Dominica's political and internal politics, right? Not to reward him. That's where it goes, and I hope that fellow Dominicans will see this and feel the same way and do the right thing, because I think this approach of hers walking through the Caribbean and then going abroad and talking about she's the chairman of CARICOM, in an attempt to big herself up and make herself look larger than just being the Prime Minister of Barbados. I think that needs to stop. It doesn't serve the people any way. It serves her. Right. So I think for that, and if the people are truly aggrieved by Skerritt and that it's time for him to go, that this should be a rallying call for Dominicans to do the right thing for the folks of Salisbury and for themselves.
Yes, I had an article here, but I'm not seeing it here to share. But where it was so bad that she actually, I might not be able to share the article, which I can't see why I shouldn't be able to share it. But as I said, please bear with me. Dave is not here. Let me see if I'll be able to do it now. Let me see if I'll be able to do it now. But the people were very upset that the RSS was called in, because as the article said, this is it here. I hope you can see my screen. Are you seeing the screen, Adrian?
I see your screen. I just see this gentleman with a Mottley sign, anti-Mottley sign. I'm not seeing.
Okay, all right. So
I think it's behind. You have something.
It's behind something there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So just hang on. I will get it, guys. I will get it, guys. I am on my own tonight, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
I found something here with regards to her involvement. It says Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, in her capacity as chair. Unless you want to go ahead and read that. Is that the same thing?
No, read what you were reading, and then I will read that.
Yeah. The Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, in her capacity as chair of the regional security system, has faced criticism in Dominica regarding the deployment of the RSS forces during civil unrest in Salisbury in March 2025. The RSS, a regional security alliance comprising several Eastern Caribbean nations, was established to address threats to regional stability. As Chair, Mottley plays a significant role in overseeing its operation. In March 2025, following protests in Salisbury against controversial electoral reform bill passed by Dominica's parliament, the Dominica government requested assistance from the RSS to manage the situation. This led to the deployment of RSS personnel in Dominica. Critics in Dominica argue that the involvement of the RSS under Mottley's chairmanship in domestic political matters undermines the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of sovereign nations. They contend that the deployment was an overreach and have called for greater transparency and accountability in the decision-making processes of regional bodies like the RSS. While Mottley has not publicly addressed these specific criticisms, the situation highlights the complexities of regional cooperation and the challenges of balancing collective security responsibilities with respect for national sovereignty. This one I did not see at all.
Yes.
And I mean, how could she now think that she can go and into Dominica and present herself at a political rally for one political party after doing this? My God, talk about despotic, talk about authoritarian. That's ridiculous.
And this is what we're trying to tell Barbadians and trying to tell the rest of the Caribbean. And when we come on here, they say we don't like her. And you know what? This is why this is the kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Right, where she interferes and she bombastic, and she could pick up and send the RSS to Dominica to interfere in their domestic operations.
She can't do both. You cannot. Again, if a sister island calls for help, she might be duty bound to do that. But then for her to then turn around and go and present herself while being chairman of CARICOM and having this role with the RSS and present herself to a political party, a partisan political entity's event. It's just so wrong on so many levels, But I know she likes to do this thing, when she would, like she go and say, and this is Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister speaking. This is Mia Mottley, the person speaking. She likes to do these alleged or farcical separations of who she is. It's so funny that she does it. But
that's her Miss Piggy self. they're no, because that's what it is. Bombastic, Miss Piggy,
Oh my
bombastic, want
goodness.
to take over, want to
Yeah.
rule. You know, in class, everybody knows that bully in class. You remember those bullies?
Yeah.
That's the Miss Piggy character about her, and that's what she wants to do to people in
That
this
is
country.
that
You
is
hear what
so
I tell you?
that is so imperialistic, so Trumpian, so authoritarian that I can
Authoritarian.
wear all of these, I can wear all of my hats, as long as I just say, well, that was me as chair of the regional security system, but this is me as Motley, or this is me as a friend of the Dominica Labour Party, and so therefore I can get to do all these things. It's just ridiculous. People put
Very
up with
much
this
so.
nonsense. It's just amazing to me. But
Well,
hey,
she on March 29th, because that
mm.
that election happened. So they had the election. They just had it last month,
Oh yeah, they did. They did.
And,
Oh,
and
okay.
listen, and listen, and of course he wins again. I think it's
Of
his
course.
fourth term
Yeah.
because he's part of. Do you remember that fantastic session that Marsha? That's just ringing in my head the
Yes.
entire night.
Yes.
You
Yes.
were on with me
Yeah,
when
I
Marsha
was.
did that. It's an amazing session. If you've missed that session with Marsha Myrie Hines or Hines Myrie, go and check it. It's she talks about the Kingmaker. All of
Yeah.
these here, the Scarrets, Motley, and also Gonzalez. They're all a part of this Hartley Henrys. These are what you call them, um what you call it, it's clients, then
Yeah.
clients of a Hartley Henry, and he has been able to produce these leaders who are in power for 4 and 5. This man Gonzalez is going to be on his 6th term. So
Yeah.
they're all friends in the
Yeah.
Caribbean, and she's trying
Yeah.
to make, as Marsha says, he's a kingmaker, and they
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
him loads and loads and loads of money to ensure
Hmm.
that they win these elections. And
Yeah.
and so they're all working together. And for him, and so there is something into this
Hmm.
for her to call in the regional security services on the opposition, the people in the opposition.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah.
In
But
essence, what she did.
and that's unfortunate. Then, but that's fine. That Hartley can do this and does what he does and win and all that good stuff and have these clients that play off a similar or same playbook and get the results that they like. But and again, it's just ridiculous. This is why I keep saying governance in the Caribbean is so ridiculous. There's no constraints on the powers that these people hold, but they continue to fool people that it is a democracy. And yeah, to some extent it is, because as I said, internationally, as long as you hold elections, right, you satisfy all that there is necessary to say that you are a democracy, right?
That's
and
it.
that's and that's it, right? Rigging them in a way that it's not easily determined or defined as such. Nobody's going to come and say anything, right? So they can get away with this because the people allow it. The people are not sufficiently critical in their thinking. People are not sufficiently independent and selfish to a level within the democracy to see collectively where they are and whether it's benefiting them for the policies and legislation of a particular government, to do something about it. Yeah, we can talk and hopefully something will break through. At some point, people will realize that, hey, look, after so many years and this is not working out for us. This is the second generation of my family, and our economics situation has barely improved. Is this good enough? What are we doing wrong? And start to really question their actions in their society, and whether they can do better, whether they can be better informed and make better informed decisions, that focus is on developing themselves and their families and their communities. But until we get to that point, they can become more emboldened. I think this prime minister is the one that the most emboldened, where you don't have to look very far to see contradictions, and things that make you wonder if it's truly a democracy, and if this person is operating within the confines of the various leadership roles that they have. it's just, I don't know, man. It's
Yeah, but
wow.
can
This
you
is
imagine? Can you
yeah.
imagine now that she is she's the leader of CARICOM, chairman of CARICOM at the
Yeah.
moment.
Hmm.
So what if there was a need to observe the elections in Dominica? I want people to think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that, folks. And if you are in the opposition, would you trust the judgment? What if CARICOM what if Dominica is asked,
Hmm.
right? What if she has to go there? I mean,
But
come on, folks. Come on,
yeah,
folks. This is ridiculous.
when
And
when
I
they
tell you, go ahead.
yeah when they do things like that, send election watch parties to Guyana and Venezuela and places like that. That is done not for the citizens of the country. That's done for the international community, right? Just in case anybody says anything about the outcome that we plan and that will come to fruition, we had these people that don't live here came here and said that everything was well. Not we barring the fact that the governing party who planned to win and just looking for cover internationally, went out to these other countries and picked these individuals. I remember Tahir Balboulia, went to Venezuela as a election committee watcher from, I don't know if it was from CARICOM or something, but he thought it was the greatest thing. I was like, really? you know, um, and he was picked somehow by I think the Venezuelan embassy to do that. I clearly you think they're picking you because of your independence and stuff. No, they pick you primarily because they believe that you're going to be more accepting to what they want, right?
Yeah.
In terms of outcome. So I don't pay much attention to this whole thing about bringing in election watchers and stuff like that. It is more performance than more performative than anything else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's somebody on here who I think, based on the comments,
Hmm.
there's a Jane Doe on here, and if you can, I think they sound like they're from Dominica. You could just educate us, if you are from Dominica, on what's happening on the ground there
Hmm.
in Dominica. June 1st is Sunday, and that's when Mottley is scheduled to be there. Will there be live protests on the street? I know people are protesting right now on social media. They're writing articles. They're asking for Mayor Mottley to resign as the chairman of CARICOM. This is how seriously electoral commission there, reform commission in Dominica mistaking this. They're asking for Mayor Mottley to resign as the chairman of CARICOM for doing this, for coming and being so political and partisan. And because and Hector John is also telling Hector John, if you're from Dominica and you can tell us some more in the comment section, please go ahead
Yeah.
and tell us. They're saying these names: Hartley Henry, Peter Wickham, Charles Young, and Navanda Prasad are regional political mercenaries. What do you mean by that? And I think I know what they mean by that. And I think what they're trying to say there, I don't know if the word mercenaries is correct, and I wouldn't use the word mercenaries. I think that what they're saying, that these people, it's alleged that they work with the political campaigns of Mottley, Skerritt, and Gonzalez, and their intention is to create kings. You know what? When a king is in power for life. Right now, Gonzalez is there, and I was told today that he's going to be on his sixth term. Is it
Wow.
his sixth term? So while this person has mercenaries, I would not call them mercenaries. I would say they have these people. It's alleged that they have as their clients Gonzalez, Skerritt, and Mottley. So we all know what Mottley intends to do. We know that she doesn't. Everything that we're saying on here about her is correct. She wants to be a despot. She is a despot. She wants to be a dictator for life in here. That's what she doesn't want. There, she must decimate the opposition. There, she sent the RSS on the opposition. She unleashed the regional security services. She unleashed them on the opposition of Dominica. What
Yeah.
will she do
I
to the
think you should.
opposition in
I
Barbados?
I think you should take that statement down.
Yes.
political
Yes.
whatever. I think you
Yeah,
should.
because it's not, we don't
Um,
believe, our
yeah,
show, we don't believe they're mercenaries at all.
yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they have as their clients, I think
yeah.
is what is
I,
more
I
appropriate.
I was a little confused about the RSS going into Dominica. I know they went into Dominica before. I didn't realize it was 2025, but they also went in
Yes.
2019. They went into the RSS was called into Dominica in 2019 ahead of Dominica's general elections. The government requested assistance from the RSS to maintain law and order amid
And
white.
when was
I
it?
remember
2019.
in
Who was
December
the
2019.
who was the CARICOM chair? It would be lovely to find out who was the CARICOM chair. If
Um,
Miss Motley, if Miss Motley, if Miss
I don't think she. I
Maxine
don't know.
McLean, because she was coming, because while people say, oh, she's chair CARICOM, it's only for 6 months and it's rotated. So they love to make it seem like this is big position that she
Yeah,
has.
she bigs it up. She went to Africa and she didn't list that she was. Well, I guess she could say, well, everybody knows the Prime Minister of Barbados, but she lists that the fact that she was something to do with that thing, that emblem that she wears, that instead of the Barbados flags, that UN thing to do with climate, and the fact that she's CARICOM chair, so she does that a lot.
Yes.
Who was CARICOM chair in
So yeah, let's find who was
2019?
CARICOM chair in 2019.
Hmm.
Hector John, you're saying that there was a protest on March 1925, 2025. The last election in Dominica was on December 2022. Didn't you have this? I thought I saw on the internet, Hector, that you had an election in March 2025. Please correct me if I'm wrong there.
So let me see because there were two chairs, one in January and one in February. 2019, December 2019. So that would have been Alan Chastany. Because in July
Okay.
2019, the chairman transitioned to Alan Chastany.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
okay.
that's why I kind of, I mean, when if it's the prime minister's call, if they thinks there's protests and that his police force can't deal with it, they're going to call the RSS. I can't fault him for that. That's why he said, I dismiss that as she has to go with what the chairman, the prime minister Dominica says. But then to go to Dominica in the capacity as the political leader of your party in Barbados to the internal political conference of a sister party in Dominica is wrong. It's not illegal, but it is wrong. That's what I said. So,
Ah.
I can't fault her for doing what she has to do as chair of RSS,
Yeah,
right? I didn't think it's
but
right to do that.
some believe though, Adrian, the issue is, and this was a discussion in St. Lucia
Right?
when it
Yeah.
happened, Stroud CARICOM, that they believe it was an overreach. Because it was a peaceful protest. I would love to hear from the Dominicans about that. They're giving us some clarity here. Thank you, Jane Doe. It's giving us
But,
some clarity
but
that
I, I
hold a minute,
mhm,
though. We need to clarify this because I said something wrong. That it was not an election in March 2025. It was to pass a bill or
yes,
an
to pass the
election
bill.
reform bill
Right.
was to be passed, and they had a protest, and
Hmm.
that is what happened. But if I could just read quickly what Mr. Dr. Fontaine said.
Hmm.
He says in a letter to Mottley, he's the opposition leader.
Hmm. Hmm.
He said, dated March 18, 2025, Dr. Fontaine expressed grave concerns over a statement by Prime Minister Roosevelt when he announced that he had authorized the security minister to activate the RSS in response to a planned protest demanding electoral reform. Okay. On March 19, outside the Parliament building, Dr. Fontaine alleged that this move suggests an attempt by Skirat to manipulate the RSS for undisclosed reason.
Hmm.
Dr. Fontaine said that the UWP feared the RCS was being misused to suppress the fundamental human rights of Dominican citizens to
Hmm.
engage in peaceful protests. He urged CARICOM to carefully evaluate its actions to prevent what he described as a selfish and unwarranted manipulation of the
Right.
RSS.
Right.
Okay.
That is fair, and I do see where there are. It is also fairness. They're right to protest her going to Dominica, but I would
Mhm.
hope that their true angst is towards the person that caused all of this in the first place, which is the prime minister, right?
Yes.
I mean, it is time for Dominica. This is twice that the man called the RSS on Dominica's, um, legitimate or otherwise. But I think if people are so aggrieved, if Dominicans are so aggrieved that it is overreach, it is too much, or whatever, why is this man still prime minister? That's the thing. Why is his party still winning elections?
Yes.
Right? You
I
can't
it's a
blame.
good
I,
question.
I'm, you can't blame Motley for this. She did what she had to do, right? I still think she should, be wise enough and mature enough to say, look, I don't want to be personally involved in this internal
Correct.
squabble between the prime minister and his people. So I can sit out going to this conference for this time being, right? Because rightfully, it is not her fault that the RSS went to Dominica. It is the prime minister of Dominica's fault, and that's where the angst.
But is that really so? She's the chairman of CARICOM. If
But
they
it is
request it,
difficult. Yeah, it
if
is
if they
difficult for the
request it,
chairman to tell people no. It is difficult for the
okay.
chairman to tell
You
people
think so? I
tell the
would.
prime minister no. What if she did say that no, I ain't sending them, and all hell broke out in Dominica. Meaning that the police, then overreach and kill a whole bunch of people. You know, then scared was said by the RSS. What's the point of the RSS? I don't know if Dominica pays into the RSS or whatever, but he might decide that, hey, look, you guys ain't helping me out, so I can remove my country from the RSS. I can't, in all fairness, fault the leadership of the RSS for honoring a request for assistance, right? I do
Mm,
agree with the gentleman who wrote that letter saying said just now that more due diligence might be necessary when these calls are made. I
that's the
agree with
point
that.
I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Did
But that
CARICOM sit down and did they look at the situation? And
right.
I think that the people in Dominica, they would have known the history of the relationship with Skerritt and Motley. You see, all of these things, and it wasn't the first thing. Remember, there was an issue as well with the university. I agree, this lady really bold face, to
Mhm,
get up and go down there because she would have remembered that the people were very angry about the university being taken from Dominica,
mhm,
you know,
mhm.
and then with the RSS. And the question is, on what basis is the RSS, deployed in people's, to be in countries,
I
national and
again,
domestic
I'm
issues?
just assuming here, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if persons were to look at um the method that was used back in 2019 to send them down there for a similar thing is the same method that was used in 2025. So, but again, at this point, given the history of the leader of Dominica and the Dominican people, right? There's that, you know, that it might be necessary, as Dr. Fontaine wrote, that some changes are made to how the RSS is activated after the call of a member state prime minister for assistance. That there should be some kind of, and it's going to be hard because more likely than not, these calls are going to be made in an emergency situation. So you're going to want, as quick as possible a deployment. But I mean, they just need to sit down and think about it. Are we
Yeah,
aiding and abetting some kind of irregularity
yeah,
in
they need to be
governance,
careful.
or
Yeah.
right, or by us asking these questions and delaying the deployment, are we furthering the potential for anarchy to break out in Dominica?
Right. So it
So
needs to be legitimate. And I think
yeah,
what Mr. Fontaine is asking,
yeah,
and this is why they, again, when they see that, okay, the chairman of CARICOM is coming and the chairman's picture,
yeah,
the
that
her
is wrong.
picture
Absolutely,
along with Skerritt are
yeah,
together on filling up the entire
that is wrong.
city.
That
Oh
is
my
wrong.
goodness.
That
And
is wrong.
that's
That
why they're saying that she's as cruel. This
yeah.
person is saying she's
No,
as,
no, she's
as
no. If
cruel
there's
as.
further unrest now, and the RSS has to go in, no, she can't escape some level of culpability because that is inflaming people, regardless to whether there's legitimacy in her as chair of CARICOM and some leader of RSS to make these decisions, having sent the RSS into Dominica, and now after that, having your picture plastered all over Dominica with a clearly political type of instrument, placard, or whatever, right? It is that is has the potential to inflame, or reignite the issue that the RSS went in to quell, right? So if that happens now, she can't escape blame because I think there's no need for her. There was no need for that. Absolutely no need for those placards to be out there, right? Absolutely no need. All it is going to do is to inflame people and potentially reignite the Salisbury issue, and that's not what she should be doing in her capacity as chairman
Yeah,
of
let me
CARICOM.
ask a question of the Dominicans in the chat, guys. The lines are open, and anybody feel free to call. We're here talking, and I forgot, and I think the people forgot too. If you're from Dominica, can you call in? You can call in? Actually, let me put up the number. But someone was saying that she needs to apologize to the people of Salisbury. And I would like, I think I know why, but I would like for them to spell out, the Dominicans who are on the chat, to
Yeah.
spell out why they believe that she needs to apologize.
But
There is
I
there's-
would say that
there's a call
it's
coming through. Yeah, go ahead.
what
Quickly,
Rosalind
quickly.
Corbin is saying is true. That exactly summarizes exactly what I agree with what Rose is saying here. She should decline the party invitation. But I would say to that caller, if Motley is supposed to apologize, I would like to hear Scared apology. This all starts with him. You can't
Yeah.
skip over her. You can't skip over him and get to the chairman of CARICOM
Yeah.
for the
No,
for
it's both
sending
of
the
them.
people in.
It's
For
both of
sending
them.
All right.
Because they have been working together, and I'm telling you, this is what this is part. Remember, it's a threesome there. Mottley, Skerritt, and Gonzalez. Gonzalez has,
Regardless, for sending the RSS, this person is saying that she should apologize for sending the RSS in. That is a specific request for a specific apology, right? And I'm saying I'm not denying denying this person their right to ask for that, but I'm saying how legitimate is that? That she should apologize. She didn't get up one day and say, "Let me send these people to Dominica."
oh,
It was a request.
somebody's on. They want the number. There's a Fontaine on. Okay, let me let this caller, and then Fontaine, we're gonna keep the. Okay, let me just call her. Just hang on. Let me let the person. Thompson Fontaine. I see you're there, and you said I would love to call in. What's the number? Look on the screen now, and you're going to see the number, and you can put it in as a WhatsApp number and call. I think you're from Dominica. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Good night to the panel.
Good night. Welcome.
Good night. Yes. Good night. What I realize is that we can't sit in the Caribbean and be naive. It is believed, I don't know for how long, but I think Skerritt did live, I'm not sure which parish he was in, but I know he had allyship in Barbados. And where I'm going with this, because I don't have much time.
Yes.
What I am seeing or foreseeing is that the strategy, or I should say the Motley-led strategy in Barbados, it seems to defect them and dupe them. So the cybercrime bill kind of hears down, but it hasn't disappeared. But what I think will happen if this strategy is used in another place, don't feel that when Bajans wake up, because apparently they're still sleeping, they're still wherever it was that they was talking about the passport and jumping up. I think was it East Coast? I'm not sure if it was East Coast or not, but they're still in that mode. And they're still in the they're still in that by-election party mode / crop over mode. But when the real fire, the pot of the legislative draft is turned on, and Beijing start to realize that the Barbados that they knew is no longer because sweetheart, darling, has taken it into a different spectrum, then the people will realize,
Yes.
how as the British say, house school keeping. I
Yes.
will let you go because
Yes,
I
but
call wants to come in, but
yes,
yes,
but no,
go on.
but point well taken. Point well taken. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it. And let me just there's another caller there, but thank you. Very
All the
good
best.
point. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, there another call came in, but Adrian, there is a very important one here that somebody's written.
Okay.
And look at Hector John at 9:43, because I don't want to remove that number. Okay, but let me see if I can answer this call. But read Hector John at 9:43. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Good night. I am doing great.
This woman.
Can't hear her.
Okay. Okay.
Woman is a bully. She's a wicked woman.
All right, because she buried the flag.
So that means that she buried bacon.
Ah, I see.
She buried. You never know what else went down with that.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see.
You never know. You never know. That
Okay.
woman wicked. She's wicked. She's not in it.
Yes. Okay, but thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I see a Hector John. He says Mia Mottley needs to apologize to the community of
Oh,
Salisbury.
not that one. Not that
Okay.
one. It was very important, but okay. He said here, the sleeping village of Salisbury was bombarded with expired tear gas by RSS from 4 a.m.
Yes.
on December 5th, 2019. Oh, okay, that's 2019.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That
All
was.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just see. There was another call, but you see if you see any other comments that you might want to read.
All right. Yeah. Using the.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Let's see here. Below this. Okay, caller, can you turn down? Welcome, but could you turn down your device, please? Oh, the call ended. It was a call from Dominica, I think it was, you know. If that's a call from Dominica, feel free to call back and turn down your devices, please. Turn down the device as you're calling in. This is Mr. Thomas Fontaine.
Yes, this is Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the leader of the United Workers' Party in Dominica.
Oh, wow, you are the leader of the opposition?
Yes, I was listening to your program and I heard you made mention of.
Yes, I read your. I'm so happy. I tried so hard to get somebody from the opposition in Dominica. So guys, listen up. This is a leader of the opposition from Dominica on the telephone right now, Dr. Fontaine. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show, sir. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to put in some clarification.
Yes, speak up a little louder for us. Yes.
Yes, I wanted to just make some clarifications with respect to the role of the RSS and what transpired both in 2019 and also in March of 2025. Now, in 2019, it is true that at the time it was Shasney who was the chairperson of CARICOM.
Yes.
But Barbados contributed troops to the effort. And in fact, that was on the eve of our election, and 2 persons got shot. They were sent to the main stronghold of the United Workers' Party, a village called Salisbury. And they used live rounds of ammunition on individuals there who were simply protesting for electoral reform. And in 2019, when we heard that in 2025, in March, we were again protesting for electoral reform. And when we heard that Mayor Mottley, as chairman of CARICOM, had been approached by the Prime Minister, I wrote in my capacity as leader of the United Workers' Party to Honorable Mottley informing her of what had transpired in 2019, and also reminding her that any use of troops in Dominica would be seen as an affront against the people of Dominica, and would be considered to be a hostile act, because we were not under any kind of threat in Dominica. There was no unrest, and we thought it was completely unjustified for the troops to be sent in. To her credit, she agreed and did not send the individuals into Dominica again. Now, I heard your co-host, I believe, saying, well, why it is that we have not taken up this prime minister if he's so bad? Well, that is where the problem is. The reason why we have been on this electoral reform bandwagon for so long is because we have a completely flawed system in Dominican politics. In fact, in 2022, we boycotted. We took the extraordinary step to boycott the election. Bearing in mind, we had the main opposition party. We were last in government in 2000. The Labour Party has been there since 2000, but they have been systematically stealing the elections with the use of Hartley Henry and Wickham, who have played very significant roles in the politics here in Dominica.
Hartley and Wickham? You said Hartley and Wickham?
Yes, yes, both of them, both, yes. And what they have devised, and we believe that this plan came from them, given the fact that Dominica is a relatively small country, what they have done is look at the marginal constituencies, where in the past you've won by 5 or 10 votes, and they've brought in significant numbers of Dominicans residing in the diaspora into those constituencies to ensure that the government wins. So that's what we have been fighting against over the past 4 election cycles. And the last time we said that enough is enough, we have to force this reform agenda, and we decided to stay off of competing in the election. But it has been extremely difficult for us in opposition, given the machinations of this prime minister with the help of the Barbadian partners here, unfortunately.
So you're saying, so Dominica really have a real issue with Barbados, because these two guys are Bajans, Hartley and Wickham, and I know I'm understanding it. It's even worse. Hartley and Wickham, in your estimation, you're alleging that they would be the mastermind behind Skerritt being in office for 25 years.
Absolutely. Effectively, the campaigns of Skerritt has been run by Hartley Henry, and Peter Wickham has served as the pollster. But he's the one that has been running the elections for the prime minister in Dominica. And part of that legacy that they have established is what I just described. So they have used the coffers of government and spent millions of dollars, chartered flights from the United States, from the U.S. Virgin Islands, chartered ferries from Antigua, Guadeloupe, and Martinique. And they brought down individuals in selected communities, those particular areas where they are basically, it's close, and they have done it. Now, just to give you a sense as to how close it is, in 2009, when we lost the elections, we actually lost 5 seats by a combined total of 220 votes. Okay? 5 seats that we lost as the opposition by a combined total of 220 votes. So that gives you a sense as to how close the elections can be. But they have basically erased that now, because what they do, they look at the constituencies where it is extremely close, and then they bring in numbers. You know, in my own constituency, they brought in 52 persons that year, and I lost by 2 votes.
Wow!
In a neighboring constituency, they brought in over 200 individuals, and we lost there by 20 votes. So that has been happening systematically. And we were hoping that your Prime Minister, Honorable Mia Mottley, would use her good offices to really advocate on electoral reform, because ironically, she contributed to the whole electoral reform campaign. When she was in opposition, she was actually hired to do a project in Dominica to make recommendations for electoral reform. So she's very well aware of the issues and the problems that we are facing in Dominica. And this wholesome embrace of a prime minister who is violent towards his people, because in the March 19th election, in a March 19th protest action, unprovoked, he unleashed the police forces, with tear gas and rubber bullets and so on, completely unprovoked. And he has been doing that, So I'm a bit disheartened, by the role that the Prime Minister Mia Mottley continues to play in the Dominican politics, because it seems that she's encouraging something which I'm sure she could not get away with in Barbados.
Well, I don't know so much. Remember, she's won all the seats, and it's the same people behind her. It's alleged behind her, Hartley, Wickham, and what's the other name? Hartley, Wickham, and what's the other name?
Well, I'm only familiar with Hartley and Wickham. I'm not familiar with the food.
Right, there's a Chinese Zhong. Right.
Yeah.
Are you familiar?
Yes, I'm familiar with Zhong.
You're
yes,
familiar.
Absolutely.
What role in your mind does he play in the?
So
we know.
Zhong is the IT guy.
IT.
He's the one that. The IT, yes, he's the IT expert. So he's the guy that will troll for emails and get information from people online and so on. That's the kind of role that it plays. Yeah.
Yes. So Zhong, and we've seen that over here as well. IT is a nice way to put it, I'm not saying it's him, but people are finding their phones tapped and their computers entered in. I don't know who did it, but a lot of those kinds of things happen during the election time here. So when is your next election, sir?
Well, the next election constitutionally is due in by March of 2028.
Yes.
But bear in mind that our last election happened 2 years before it was constitutionally due. The Prime Minister called the snap election. There are concerns that even if we have received some sort of electoral reform legislation, our concern is that he may not allow enough time to do those reforms. There's a lot of discussion around possible snap election. But that's what we're looking out for. It is quite possible. But according to the Constitution, it would be due the first quarter of 2028.
2028, but you're saying it can be called at any time. Adrian, I know you had a question, and I don't know if the question was answered when you were asking Adrian, the leader of the opposition. You were asking, but now we have the leader of the opposition of Dominica on the line. I think you were asking, why is it that the Dominican people why don't they remove steroids? Is that the question you were asking, Adrian?
Well, and the honorable gentleman answered it with regards to the election irregularities. When he said it, I did recall people talking about people flying in to Dominica. Ironically enough, there's a gentleman who plays cricket with me in Boston that went home around that same time. I never asked him any questions, but maybe that was part. Was part of that contingent that went home on behalf of the Scarrett regime. But I mean, I'm assuming that the honorable gentleman has legitimate information, concrete information to, for these 52 people that he said came into his constituency, that if he had, don't to the level that if he had to, he can call their names and stuff like that. How would, for one, how is the current election process situated that this could happen? I mean, when you guys go in Barbados, both parties have individuals in the polling stations that are doing checking of the register to ensure that people who come in and present their IDs or whatever are legitimate. Is there a similar thing in Dominica as well?
Yeah, he's answering now. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I'll explain that. So in the Dominica context, we have absolutely no voter ID cards. No identifications used during the elections. That's one. Secondly, we have a voters list that exceeds the population of Dominica. On our voters list, there are individuals who have been overseas for some 40 years and whose names have not been removed in contravention to our election laws, which basically says that you have to be residing in Dominica within the last 5 years to participate. So the names of these individuals are kept on the voters list. Individuals are brought in, they are sent to different constituencies. We have made everything that has happened in every election. We, as the opposition, we have our agents, as the gentleman rightly indicated. We have our agents in those polling stations. They raise the objections to individuals that they don't recognize as coming from that constituency. They raise the objections. The individuals are allowed to take an oath, and they're still allowed to vote. And those votes go in the general pile. It goes in the pile of voters. What's left for us to do now is to take this via election petitions. And that is what we have been doing. So we go to put the election petitions. We have a judiciary in Dominica that is very much lockstep with the government.
Of course,
and they will either not look at it in time, at the petitions in time, or simply ignore it. So we have been doing that patiently for the past few election cycles. And thankfully, after the 2019 election, we were able to get, for the very first time, to get the evidence before the Caribbean Court of Justice. But it was already 3 years after the election. And the Caribbean Court of Justice, when they got a chance to look at the evidence of those things I'm talking about, we have people voting on other people's names, persons who are voting without ID cards, the voters list, the CCJ could only opine. They gave an opinion, and they said clearly that there should be no future elections in Dominica with the kind of taints that they observed in the 2019 election. The bloated voters list, no voter ID card, people voting on other people's names. They felt that the election process in Dominica was completely flawed, completely tainted, and that we should have no future elections.
What year was that, Dr. Fontaine? Dr. Fontaine, what year was that?
That was in July of 2022. That was 3 years after our election in 2019.
Yeah.
So they came out with that opinion in July, and you can Google it online. You'll see the opinion there. They were very clear because they had a chance to see the evidence that we have in terms of affidavits, in terms of objecting to persons who we know for a fact should not be voting in those elections. And we brought all of that. So the Prime Minister of Dominica, having this report from the CCJ of July of 2022, he calls a snap election 4 months later in November of 2022. And that is the reason why we did not participate in those elections.
So Dr. Fontaine, did CARICOM... my question to you is, CARICOM, CCJ said they should not have any more elections until they fix these things, but he goes ahead 4 months later and calls it. What was CARICOM's response?
The CARICOM did absolutely nothing, and bear in mind, and that's some of my problem that I have with CARICOM. It looks like it's an old boys club. They refuse to take action against those that, like the Prime Minister of Dominica, that has erred against the people of Dominica, and they've given him full and complete support. And like even the CARICOM observer missions, if you look at their reports election after election cycle, the CARICOM observer reports always says the same thing, that the elections are neither free nor fair. They've been saying that over and over, yet the leaders do nothing. They continue to embrace and encourage, as it were, Dominica's Prime Minister in what he's doing. So CARICOM, in my view, is completely useless as far as that is concerned in making any difference to us. And that's the reason why there's a lot of anger even now by the people of Dominica against Prime Minister Mia Mottley and against her involvement and, quite frankly, blatant interference in the internal affairs of Dominica and internal politics of Dominica. And the fact that she's coming to Dominica tomorrow on Sunday is further evidence of that. And the people of Dominica, they're not happy about it.
Wow. Any questions there, Adrian? Because we're so happy you called in, because we've been trying to get the correct information, and I'm glad that he called in to say that that his letter, the letter we read, that I read, was able to cause the CARICOM not to send the troops. So the troops actually were sent in 2019, Adrian, and not 2025. So we want to correct that to our viewers that we made an error in that the troops were not sent in 2025. The troops were sent in 2019. Any questions there?
That's correct.
Yeah. Any questions, Adrian?
Actually, no, I don't. The honorable gentleman was very clear and detailed in what they have. Those would have been follow-up questions, but he answered all of what I would have asked. And quite frankly, they've done quite a bit. I'm amazed that I'm hearing this for the first time. I try to follow Caribbean news as best as I can. So I think this needs to be aired out more, publicized more, in reference where CARICOM is making comments. I'm going to actually look for your information online, and I will make it my business that when I see CARICOM Secretariat out there making public announcements of any kind, I would bring this up, because this is, I think, a big secret of what is going on in Dominica, that all these things are happening, that you're seeking redress, and redress is given, CCJ ruled, and it's being ignored. That's just ridiculous. So something has to be done.
Yes.
I think those of us, because there are similar concerns, not to the magnitude or as observable as what is happening in Dominica, in Barbados, right? So this where the clarity that you just expounded on is there, and magnifying that might be bring about some shedding of light in Barbados as well.
Yes, so I think we will start to look at things a little differently, because those 230 loves, a lot of people, Dr. Fontaine, we are not too convinced of it.
Yep.
But, let me ask you something, Dr. Scarrett. Wrong name. Dr. Fontaine, not Dr. Scarrett. Dr. Fontaine, the opposition leader of Dominica. Let me ask you, sir, with concerning Ross University, it seems like there's still such a loss in Dominica. You have lost economically from that, and the sentiments are still there. People are still upset about that. Is that part of the rejection of Miss Mottley to Dominica, you think? Is that part of it?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You're talking about the loss. We estimate to be approximately 30% of our gross domestic product. That's how much Ross University meant to Dominica. And that was taken away from us, we believe, by Prime Minister Mottley, quite frankly, along with the Prime Minister of Dominica. Something happened around that transaction.
Oh, wow.
That raised a lot of questions, which I will not go into right now, but that is something that you can, even on your end, look at in terms of what really transpired when Ross University moved from Dominica. Yes, we had our issues, but bear in mind, that university was flourishing over 40 years. It was in Dominica.
Yeah.
We grew Ross University from a one-room university to hiring thousands or having thousands of students. And they persevered with Dominica over all those years. But we believe that with the active involvement of your Prime Minister, we eventually lost it. A great loss to the country, one from which we have still not yet recovered. Because when you take away 23% or 30% of a country's gross domestic product, you can't really feel that right away. And we have been struggling since then to get some redress and then to turn that around. And also, just quickly, in terms of the correction, I'm not the leader of the opposition because we are not in parliament. The leader of the opposition is usually reserved for the leader in parliament. Mm-hmm. We are not in parliament. Leader of the United Workers' Party, which is the largest opposition party in Dominica.
In Dominica, yes. Okay. Yes. So let me. You talked about Ross. I'm trying to imagine the kind of climate that Miss Mottley is going to meet in Dominica when she gets there on Sunday. Are they going to have physical protests there, or people are just mumbling and grumbling?
Well, it is hard to say. Over the past few days on local radio, there have been increasingly angry voices to be heard, calling for some kind of protest against calling for some visible demonstration of the anger that is being felt by the people of Dominica. And I'm not sure anything quite frankly, anything could happen on Sunday. You know, I think it would be good if the Prime Minister reconsiders coming into Dominica, into that kind of environment, because clearly she is not welcome. And that is the message that the Dominican public have been sending.
That she's not welcome in Dominica.
In Dominica. Absolutely.
But sir, did you
Yeah.
see? Can you correct us if we're wrong in this? We got some Facebook posts with the pictures of both Skerritt and Mottley on light poles, and the comment. And I can say his name because it was on, it was on social media by Dr. Honeychurch, that it was put, on all of these posts throughout town. Is that true? Is that really what is happening?
Yes, there were posters showing the two of them. In fact, I am driving and I just passed one on a telephone post. It's littered all over the country.
Wow.
The two, or the Prime Minister of Barbados along with Prime Minister Skerritt, superimposed on red posters throughout the country. And it is unfortunate that the Prime Minister is taking such an active role in the partisan politics in Dominica. This is not a government function. This is a Labour Party sanctioned event. And then to be so openly supportive, and I don't think that's a good move on the part of the Prime Minister of Barbados.
And that's why part of why the people are saying that she's not welcomed in Dominica. I saw a letter or an article, I can't remember, because we only started to follow this story late this evening, where people were saying that she should, if she comes, she should relinquish the role as chairman of CARICOM. Is that the sentiment in Dominica?
Yes, absolutely. Because, what the sentiment here is that if she was coming in a capacity as the leader of the Democratic Labour Party in Barbados, the Barbados Labour Party, and supporting a fellow, that would have been okay. But as the leader of CARICOM, as the chairperson of CARICOM, she's elevated, beyond. She represents a different constituent, not just a Labour Party in Barbados. And the fact that she's throwing the weight of CARICOM behind the visit, we believe it's wrong. That she should, on those grounds, she should have abstained from coming, and given what the essence of the chairmanship holds for the rest of the region. So that is where we're having some difficulties. And of course, as we indicated earlier, the anger is part of what people remember, that Bajan troops fired on unarmed Dominicans, simply protesting for electoral reform, and she was very much involved in that. And I will add quickly as well, in that particular incident, when Chasney found out the real reason, he immediately withdrew his troops. There was no such withdrawal by the Barbadian Prime Minister. So
can you repeat that? Repeat what Dr. Fontaine, what did you just say? So you're saying
that, yes, in 2019, there were St. Lucian and Barbadian troops. When the St. Lucian Prime Minister found out that he was effectively duped by the Prime Minister, that there was no unrest in Dominica, that's just a village that is very much opposed to the Prime Minister of Dominica, he immediately withdrew his RSS contingent. But the same did not happen with Mayor Mottley. So when they were when the two individuals, thank God they were not killed, but they were shot, and others were tear gassed. And in fact, a legal a case has been opened up in the International Court of Justice because a number of elderly persons who were sleeping in their beds. Imagine you have a very closed village. There is one main street running down the village, and they unloaded just an enormous amount of tear gas on persons who were effectively sleeping in their beds. And we've had a number of elderly persons who died in quick succession after that particular event. So it was not only the firing on innocent people who were out, but that night persons in their beds got the full blunt of tear gas, and we found out some of them were actually expired canisters that we picked up. So that there's a very active case of human rights violation, and that is why we were so angered when we found out that there could possibly be a repeat in March of this year. But thankfully, cooler heads prevailed and the Prime Minister did not show up.
Didn't show up. But you're saying that the Barbados Prime Minister at the time, Mayor Mottley, did not withdraw the Barbadian troops, and that that's why now I understand what they're talking about, Adrian, when they said that people were sleeping in their beds. I didn't understand that they said sleeping Salisbury. You know, now I understand.
That happened late at night.
It happened.
It happened late at night, yes.
But we didn't hear, we didn't know anything. Did you know about this, Adrian? You're muted, Adrian. I didn't know of the extent of this.
Yes, the 2019 one. Yeah, it was all over the place. Well, actually for me, because I tend to look for these things, so I did know about it. But yeah, there's some key points that he made that I wasn't aware of. The stuff about St. Lucia withdrawing their troops. I didn't know that it was actually Barbadian troops who actually fired shots that injured, if not killed, people. So those are important details. Not surprising, but important details that I was not aware of.
Wow. So, oh boy, as Richard said, what in the heaven's name is this? This is, you see, a lot of these things we are not, we don't know the details. I knew something went down there, but we just don't know the details. And this is what journalists really need to do. And honestly, I wish I could come on a plane and go down to Dominica on Sunday to get these stories. I really wish I could do that, Mr. Fontaine.
That would be great. Absolutely, that would be fantastic, because we feel, in a way, that we are left to our own devices. We feel isolated. We feel like the rest of the region does not care about what's going on in Dominica, but we are really suffering politically. And, you know, and to compound matters, we have a government that is so incompetent. We have the issues of the CBI, you know, where millions of our dollars is missing. You know, we have real issues here in Dominica. And we seem to be left on our own, you know, lack of interest by the rest of CARICOM and the active support and encouragement by the CARICOM chair. And that to me is simply unacceptable.
Yes, it is. I want to, sir, I know I've had you on here a long time, but I want to publicly invite you back on with, you know, hopefully I can get I was trying to reach the opposition leader for St. Vincent today. I'm hoping I can get him on, yourself and the opposition leader for Barbados on the program. So it is right for the three of you on, and probably for, if there's another opposition party, you said?
Well, we're the main opposition party. The other parties are very small, and we're the main. Normally, the elections are contested between ourselves and the Labour Party.
So, do you have anybody in Parliament? Right? How is the Parliament made up?
Don't. Okay, so what happened when the snap election was called? Independent candidates went up. So two of those independent candidates won, and the two of them in our strongholds, in our party strongholds, two independent candidates. And in addition to those two independent candidates, there are 4 additional senators that have been appointed.
Right, because of the 2. Okay, I got you. So you have 6
in the 30-member parliament.
So
6 in the 30-member parliament, yeah.
I see. So you don't really have an opposition, you know, in the parliament. It's the similar thing like us. You have 2, we have 1. So, you know, one person crossed in our case. So, well, let's have we would love to have, you know, I'm going, and I have your number, and I will reach out to you and the leader of the opposition for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the leader of the opposition for Barbados. And I would love for you to be part of a panel, sir.
Oh, absolutely. It will be my pleasure.
Yes, I think it. Go ahead, Mr. Hines.
One last question, sir. You had you mentioned that you have a case with the World Court or something like that, based on the 2019 issue.
Yes.
Could you? I stopped. Anybody has information on that, if they can post it, because I'm looking
Right,
for it to read
he's
about it.
trying to say something. Let's see if we could hear him, Adrian. He's cutting off a bit. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yes. So I was getting that we have on the CDI, the Port Dominica, where we are basically asking that all of the monies that are generated from the sale of our passports comes from a consolidated fund. Because as it is set up currently, the majority of the funds.
Oh, okay. It's reconnecting, Adrian. Reconnect. Let's see if it works. Okay, repeat what you said, Dr. Fontaine. You were reconnecting at that time. So just repeat what you said, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so yes, okay, great. So I was indicating that we have put a case before the courts in Dominica where we are asking for the government to transfer all of the funds that have been raised through the sale of the passport to come through our consolidated fund, to come to the government treasury. Because under the current arrangement, most of the funds generated goes into the hands of an individual, Mohammed, who is the head of the Montreal management. And he's the one, for example, who is providing funds to the government to build the international airport and to do other projects. So our court case seeks to get those funds redirected directly into our treasury, but more importantly, for the government of Dominica to account for the sale. Right now, we estimate over 50,000 passports have been sold from Dominica. And the monies that we have received in the treasury does not add up to the amount of passports that have been sold. So we are asking the court to force the government to declare those monies and also to basically complain. So we have gone before the court. The case we appeared this week, and it was put forward to September. So we are next in court in September of this year.
Wow, you guys are doing an amazing job of holding them accountable, even though you are not in the house. But let me ask you something: is there a specific case to the 2019 Salisbury incident in an external court?
Yes, there is. And interestingly enough, the case was lodged locally, and it did not go very far in our local court system. But some individuals raised it at the international court, the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. So that is going through that process there.
Wow, this is serious. So there's a case there. Wow. At the Human Rights Court concerning this, and Barbados is at the center of it. We would have never known, sir, if you didn't come on to this program. Well, I tell you, I thank you so much. You spent almost over 30 minutes with us. I was trying my utmost best to find Dr. Honeychurch, find somebody in the opposition party. And couldn't, but I'm so thankful that you called in tonight, and I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'll give you a call tomorrow, and we will arrange for the soonest that you could be on the show so we can have a longer conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Fontaine. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you for taking time to get this particular issue really.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you so much for, being so open and transparent with us. God bless you. And we are going to arrange. You might just see me in Dominica on Sunday. You never know. All righty. God bless you, sir. Bye-bye. Yes. Bye-bye. Wow, Adrian. I tell you, these shows. And listen, we were at 1,200 and it's the 10:24 and it's now 11:93. 7 persons drop off. But people are, oh my gosh.
Wow. Well,
what's going on here?
Well, we always kind of knew that we had some happy recruits in Barbados, as Gabby sang about boots. No, it was Gabby, or was it Grainer? Gabby, yeah. That sang about boots. Yeah, we didn't know that our boys went down there and shoot people. Well. Anyway, Yeah, so definitely I will be following and reading up on this case um, at the UN. It's interesting is at the UN, given what is alleged or rumored to be something that our leader was looking to achieve. So I would definitely be looking at this to see what can be learned and if it needs to be spread farther and wider, because these things need not to occur.
Wow.
Yeah, and it
Well,
might very well shed light on what we some of us suspect is occurring in Barbados as well.
Barbados, I was saying
Yeah.
that this is a can of worms opening up here, boy.
Yep.
I'm going to reach out to Mr. Thorne on this.
Yep.
Yes, I'm still going to try to get Dr. Honeychurch. Yes, Square Four. I am. Listen, you know, we're not going to, Adrian, we're going to hold on this one like a dog on bone, boy.
Oh,
But we got it.
absolutely, absolutely. One thing though, I hope that Mr. Fontaine would recognize from their actions is I couldn't believe that they sat out the election and now they're outside. I maybe if they didn't sit out, those two independents that got in would have been
Right, but
their
I
seats
think
and they
in
would have
fairness
published.
to them, they might have been saying that the CARICOM has already ruled that there should be no elections in in Dominica, but Skerrit, as the proverbial gangster that he is, decided to forget that court ruling and go ahead and kept his election. So, you know, I guess when he comes on, we can talk to him more about that. But that's interesting. That's very interesting. I
Sometimes you gotta forget your rules.
Oh boy.
You know,
Well,
so
I tell you, this is
because clearly the Scarrett and his party didn't follow the rules, and they have all the say. You know, and if it wasn't for the Marcia Week show and this gentleman's willingness and capacity to come on and tell us this, we would not have known. And it is more likely that if he was in Parliament, that we would have known. But you know, that's in the
wow.
past.
Well,
I
look
hope
at
that
what
they take a different approach.
yeah, look at what Hector John. You finish what you were saying, Adrian.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. No, yeah, Hector John. Yeah, yeah, definitely. We're all in this corner of the world together, so we got to be our
Wow, that
brother's keeper.
warms my heart. That
Yeah.
really warms my heart. And that's why we exist, guys. That's why we exist. We are
Hmm.
here for the people. We motivate, we educate, we agitate, we mobilize. And it's Africa and it's diaspora, which means the entire Caribbean. And
Yep.
so I am so happy that this could have
Yep.
happened tonight.
Yeah.
And believe me, by the help of God, I probably will get about four persons from the opposition. We might bring in Guyana as well, Adrian, on the
Yeah.
show, all four of them on, and let's and talk it out because we might just find something in common.
Yes. Yes.
I think we're finding Hartley and Wickham and Young in common. So all of that
Well,
seems to
it,
be
it's clearly more than just a set of people wearing red shirts throughout the Caribbean. They seem to be doing a lot more in unison other than wearing red shirts. So yeah, definitely we need to talk about what's going on in Guyana, what's going on in St. Vincent, um, and see if there is some kind of you know gelling of approaches and experiences that could shed more light on what some of us suspect is occurring in the English speaking Caribbean.
yes, yes. Wow. And there's a point that this gentleman made, Dr. Fontaine. I don't know if you heard it. He said, and I think you smiled at it, Adrian, when Mia Motley was in opposition, she was lobbying for electoral reform in
Of course.
Dominica. And here it is, they were protesting about this electoral reform bill,
Hmm.
and she was ready to send troops. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my God, who
Yeah,
are
it's
these people?
just more confirmation of a person who is extremely political. That when she's out of power, she will say all the right things, and once she gets to exercise that power, nothing changes. You know.
Yes,
So yeah, that's who she is.
yes.
Mm.
Wow. Somebody's asking, can anybody tell them this gentleman, Kenelem Beach? I don't know if are you Barbadian or from Dominica? He's asking, what are the objectives of this show? And we've just outlined them. Somebody please write it in the chat. Let's see if everybody's listening. I say it almost every night. But guys, I'll watch the chat, and if nobody writes it, then Jane Doe says she loves to talk about climate change. I think Jane Doe is from Dominica, you know. But but Adrian, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you. Look, this is the second night we've gone over. We're at 10:30. Please tell your wife we're sorry. But we're going to let you go very, very soon. Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you to Umar Abdullah, and thank you to THIERRY Gittens, who came on and educated us to about cheap fakes. All right, cheap fakes, which we've now have a new name for. Well, I have a new name. You know, I like to call her name. I call her cheap fake right now.
You know that our prime minister likes to talk about fake news and narrowband, you know.
Narrowband. She's a
fake news, and I catalog a whole bunch of YouTubes that have her name on it that have misleading headlines. That is fake news as well. The headlines say one thing, and when you listen to it, it's completely different. I mean, completely different. And that is fake news. And I know she's not referencing those, but those need to be included too, Mrs. Mottley, as with regards to what is fake news and narrowband. But whatever.
Deep fake. That's my new name for her. So listen, we on this show to our wonderful brother who asked Canem Beach to add to somebody said it here, but we agitate, we educate, we motivate, we mobilize Africa and the African diaspora. And our base is Barbados, so most of what we do is in Barbados. At the moment, we do some stuff from Guyana, St. Vincent, especially during the pandemic, and Guyana as well, every now and again, Haiti, Kenya. When we can get the information, we try to do that. And somebody wants to know when we're on Monday. Thank you, Black Coolie. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 AST. Okay, or he says ECT, I don't know, but I know AST, Barbados time, we are on. All right, thank you all so very much, guys. It's a pleasure having you on tonight. I learned a lot, and lasting, very, very lasting, and I mean it's a lasting. We made an error on Sunday, not necessarily an error, but with the NIS. What we learned is that the June 1st, those pensioners who were 67, April 1st, you are going to be able to get your pension. Remember, we said we didn't know if they had started to do the the administrative work for it. Well, they have started. Mr. Stephen. Stephen Strickland. Thank you. Went to the NIS, and he was informed that you can call in, that it's already, they've started the process. So get ready for that. Go down to the NIS. If you're not getting through, then you call us back, and we're going to come back here again and make it known to everybody. Okay? All right. Thank you so very much. God bless you. And it's really, really been a good night. Love you all. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
No music tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye.